Christmas content, are you multicolored or all white lights?
I am multicolored and I'm fucking blinking.
Yes.
Whoa!
Wow.
I am blinking.
Wait, that's a revelation.
That's what makes going under the tree, because shit is happening.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing my best.
Is this, are we starting the podcast?
Yeah. You're literally looking around.
There is a fucking fly in here. Where did you come from, sir? Get out.
Why are there flies in December?
I don't know. Because the world is ending.
I was just on the East Coast and there were plenty of flies in December and I found it insulting.
No, I mean, here's what I'm going to say. You talk shit about my city, I'm going to talk shit about yours. I was in LA and got bit by 1 million mosquitoes 2 weeks ago.
I'm not on board with LA mosquitoes at all. They're
Well, we've talked about it
not
before.
even supposed to be here.
They're not supposed to be there. You have only lived in LA when there have been these mosquitoes.
Right, but I certainly visited pre-mosquito times.
Of course. But you probably didn't even notice until, like, it's so noticeable for me, the mosquito infestation on the West Coast, because I lived there for like legit 20 years with no mosquitoes. And as a person, the mosquitoes are drawn to.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the blood. I don't care. I actually just don't care.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, it is the biggest bummer of all time.
It's so frustrating. And you know what else I want to tell you?
What?
Always thought that, I'm like, the mosquitoes here are frustrating, but at least they seem to stay low. They seem to stay low to the ground. So if you could get up somewhere higher, like maybe mosquito, but they go high now. When they go low, they go high. Like they're not listening to Michelle Obama. They do whatever the fuck they want now.
They do whatever the fuck they want. Caissie, I've had it with bugs.
I've had it. And I'm like, if we're going to import insects to places where they don't belong, what about like fireflies? Like fireflies, they don't bite anyone. They are magical.
Gorgeous.
They glow.
Gorgeous.
They're gorgeous.
No, instead I got these fucking lantern flies that we got to smoosh.
It's really, I
flies that I got to smoosh.
Who's ever in charge of insects, get your shit together.
Can I tell you something? New best friend Jen captured and released Jen Tulloch.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't thinking of her last name.
Okay.
I was trying to think of how I wanted to describe what she did for me in the house over the weekend. Captured and released a giant cockroach in my house.
Wow, she released it. That's an interesting choice.
It was a call. Well, because I want to say this, and I don't think she was wrong. It was so gigantic that I think she felt like killing it would be upsetting.
It's going to leave a crime scene.
It would be a crime scene, but also she was just like, I don't want the blood on my hands.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want that bug's guts. I don't want to feel that crunch.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So she captured and released it. And
in like a trap? Was it that big?
It was really big. She put a big box. Well, because my Christmas decorations were still out, or the boxes for the ornaments were still out. So she took one of my shoe boxes that I had my ornaments in.
Yeah.
It was an empty box and put it over, captured it that way.
Okay.
Then used my dustbuster thing.
Okay.
And sucked him up. Okay. And then he was just like climbing around in there because
he survived.
Because he's a cockroach and he's going to survive. You know, we know this.
Yeah.
And then we went outside and released the thing and it just like ran away.
Wow. That was very brave of her. I
thought so too. I was standing on the stairs the whole time.
I don't love a cockroach. When I first lived in New York City, my mom would come and bring my my dog Wolf, which he was not a small dog. He was like a little a Lhasa Apso, and
I had a Lhasa Apso growing up.
his name was Wolfie, and she would come and bring him to visit me or like leave him with me if she was going somewhere on a trip. And
Wolfie the Lhasa Apso, I have to say, is like a little wild. But yes, okay.
Wolfie loved coming to the Late Show with David Letterman. That was his favorite thing to do in New York City. He was terrified of the cockroaches. I would like take him out for a walk, and if a cockroach crossed his path, that would be it. He'd be frozen. You couldn't get him to continue walking forward after that. He was like, fuck this town and your fucking bugs. No, thank you.
I get it. Wolfie, I'm with you. R.I.P.
It's also similar to, do you remember from Letterman, Larry Bud Melman, that character? Well, Larry Bud Melman was portrayed by this actor, Calvert DeForest, who was in many ways similar to Larry Bud. I mean, Larry Bud Melman was a cartoon character, but Calvert wasn't dissimilar to Larry Bud in all ways. And one time, the Ed Sullivan Theater, the way that it was, there was like the theater part and then the office part, and you could either walk down the street to get to the office part, or you could take, if you knew how and had a key, you could take an underground passageway sort of underground to get back up to the office part. And one time Calvert was at the studio and he needed to go to the office for some reason, and it was bad weather outside, and he just was kind of like, I don't want to go outside, whatever. It wasn't my job, but I was like, let me use my key and I will take Calvert down under the tunnel, because it was like, could be like a little complicated. And if you didn't do it regularly, you could get lost. And I very much strongly felt that Calvert would get lost. But so we went underground and we were in the tunnel, and he was very sweetly like holding on to like a fistful of my coat, like behind me, so that he wouldn't get lost. And because it was New York City, and because it was underground, and because like that's just how it was, there was a rat down there that crossed in front of us, and Calvert saw it, and he froze. He like primally just froze, but he could not go forward and he could not go back the way that we came. And I just was like, Calvert, like we have to either go forward or back. It was like a hero's journey in a movie a little bit. I was like, am I going to wind up giving a piggyback to Larry Bud Melman to get him to the office? But I really had to talk him down off a ledge about that rat. It's and about
really funny
how it was just as afraid of us as we were of it. It was not afraid of us at all. But I had to say this to him because I was like, we're going to die down in this corridor. Like, we got to get out of here. We got to go forward.
I'm glad that you got out.
It was a very scary moment. Yeah. Calvert, R.I.P., miss you. Here's what I know about him. That guy fucking hated rats.
I don't know many people who love them, to be honest, except for people who like have them as pets.
Yeah, it's true.
And that's different than a rat on the street.
Yeah.
It just is.
I'm completely different. Yeah.
There's so much happening. First of all, how grateful are we that Reverend Warnock
pulled it out?
Pulled the. I mean, like, not that I was worried. I was, but I also had faith, and I felt like it was going to be okay. And I participated in this insane thing for Move On.
Yes.
Like this fundraiser that was truly horrific. And I got texted by a guy who was putting it together for Move On. You guys know what Move On is. It's the organization that helps raise money for, like all of these
MoveOn.org,
things. You know what I mean?
which is also
MoveOn.org.
That's also become my catchphrase when I want to stop talking about something. I say, hey, MoveOn.org.
MoveOn.org. Yeah. I'm with you. Well, here's what I get this text from this guy who I don't even know. Can I be honest? I don't know how he got my number. I don't know if I know him. There's no history in the text between the two of us. But as a good like producer, organizer person who's putting things together. He just like barreled forth as if,
Sure.
I should know. I do know. It's all happening. He was like, hey, I was hoping that I could get you to be a part of a thing that I've been putting together with these celebrities to raise money for Warnock. It's called Chip In for Georgia with MoveOn.org. And do you think you could participate on this date at this time? And I was like, I think I should be able to. He's like, great. You will be receiving a package FedEx to you tomorrow with a ghost pepper chip in it for you to eat on camera as part of the fundraiser. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? So then, of course, because you know me, because I like agree to do a fucking thing. And then I'm like, wait, what is it that I've agreed to do?
Exactly.
So Caissie was in town working with me. And we had a really fun time on that job, like the most fun.
Yes, so fun.
When do we talk about it? I don't know.
I mean, maybe next week we can.
Okay, great.
Okay.
So anyway, so we finished, but we worked all day. I would say it was like a lot of work.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay, so we worked all day shooting this thing, and then like commercial thing ish. I don't know. Holiday commercial. Anyway. And
You'll soon know.
And then we went to that Nordstrom holiday party where we stalked Santa and took weird pictures with him. And then on my way home, I was like, oh my God, it's the Chip In for Georgia thing. And the guy was texting me and was like, are you like ready to do the thing? And I started to do more research and I was like, oh, first of all, I don't like spicy things. Like I don't like hot things. I don't
also,
like spice.
You have fucking IBS.
I have IBS. I'm like, I can't do this. I don't want to do this.
Ice bucket challenge.
No. I mean, which by the way, also, I don't want to do that. But like, I just was like, I don't want to do this. So the guy from Move On was like, had asked me if I would interview one of the organizers who's, on the ground working for Warnock. And I was like, yeah, I'll do that. And then in my head, I was like, I'll do that and not have to do the chip thing, And so I signed on to the Zoom. I was like kind of late to the Zoom because we were out working and doing other things, you and me. Signed on to the Zoom and I was like, guys, I can't find the box that had the chip in it. And here are the people on the Zoom. It was like Bradley Whitford, Chelsea Handler, Andy Richter, Sarah Paulson, Tom Colicchio.
Love.
I'm forgetting some people, but there were other, there were like a bunch of celebrities on, and then there was like the woman from Move On, who was like sort of moderating the thing. And then I got a text from the guy that was like, oh, the person that you were supposed to interview isn't able to do it because she's stuck working. So it's just you're just going to be doing the chip thing. And I was like, I don't know where the box is. So then I lied, and I was like, I tried to lie, but I'm the most unsuccessful liar of all time.
Despite being an actor, not a great liar.
It's unreal. I cannot lie. So I lied at first and was like, I don't know where the box is. There's too many boxes in my house right now. I can't find it. It's somewhere. Someone put it I can't find it. So if I can't do it, whatever. And Chelsea Handler, who, I mean, just to be real, has always terrified me. I
don't think you're alone. I think
at all. I know I'm not alone.
Yeah, I think she terrifies other people.
I could see her on the Zoom with like because you have to wear gloves to even touch this chip. That's when I was like, oh, I don't want to do this at all.
Yeah. Like you have to wear gloves because it's going to hurt your hands, and then you're going to put it inside your body. Where your tissues are much more sensitive than your hands.
No. Come on. No. But I just like, I saw her like wearing the glove, and I saw her like looking at me, and I just felt like she knows I'm lying. And then and Sarah Paulson and I were texting back and forth.
Yeah.
And Sarah's like, I really don't want to do this. I was like, I really don't want to do this. I don't know why I agreed to do this. This is so stupid. But like, I saw Chelsea looking at me, and then I was like, oh, I found the box. Like, I just like bailed immediately on my lie. And Paulson was like, what the busy? You had an out. You said that you couldn't find the box. Why did you just find the box? And I was like, because I felt like Chelsea Handler was going to beat me up. I don't know.
She's
like
a human polygraph test.
It was like she stared into my soul. The sensors went off and I just felt like I had to do it. Like I felt like it was so clear to me that she knew I was lying.
Yeah.
And what is so dumb is that I should have just told Mark to throw the box out.
Right.
When I wasn't there.
Right.
Then I wouldn't have been lying.
Right.
Or I could have said, hey, will you put that box somewhere? I don't know where. Just put somewhere. Then I wouldn't have been lying, and I could have maybe done it and not had to do the unthinkable thing.
Unthinkable.
So I opened the box. I put the fucking gloves on. Tom Colicchio had just done it. And no, Tom Colicchio is a chef. This is a professional taster.
Yeah.
And he was like, it's not good. Like, he's like, this is really, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's too much. And it's bad.
Yeah.
And, but he, thank God, said, don't swallow it. He's like, my advice is don't swallow it. You can chew it up, spit it out.
Yeah.
So don't put it in your body. Don't get it down
inside.
Your throat.
Yeah.
Anyway, the time came. Sarah and I were the last ones to go. And I just did it. I took a bite. I chewed. It was excruciating. It was so horrible.
Did it make your head hurt?
It made every part of me hurt. It felt like it was so, I don't even know how to describe it. It was just terrible.
Yeah.
Why would anyone want to do this? Why does that pepper exist? It's poison. It was ludicrous. And I could tell, like, because I watched other people do it. I watched Chelsea do it. And she was like, I don't know. She seemed fine. Like, people, like, I was literally crying. Like, I thought I was going to throw up. Like, I was like, it was so disgusting and so horrible. And it took, I would say, a solid 20 minutes before it started to subside.
And this was like, again.
Yeah, I was pouring. Sarah told me that somebody had told her to like put vinegar in her mouth to counteract it.
I don't know about that. I've heard milk or milk of magnesia.
Yeah. Oh, I tried milk. I like swishing milk around. I tried I just ran cold water and just like put my mouth under the faucet. And then I tried the vinegar thing, like just pouring vinegar on my tongue. My lips were like tingling. Anyway, all of this to say, did it raise money for? I don't know, but he won. I'm taking the win.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I don't think Raphael Warnock, Reverend Raphael Warnock, I think he still could have won without you eating a food that could potentially make you shit blood. But here's what I'll also say. I do, like, the show Hot Ones, the Hot Wings show. I do.
Well, listen, someone did ask me if I wanted to do that show. Oh, Jen. I think Jen asked me because she's friends with those guys.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. I can't. I'm out.
I enjoy watching it because it has like the levels of like how far people can go. And I do enjoy when people are willing to like play along and do a stunt, but also like I don't want anyone to hurt themselves. I mean, like recently Matt brought home, I was saying that I was like wanting ginger ale, but like I'm very specific about like I want not sugary ginger ale because I don't like sugary drinks, but I want something that has like a non-NutraSweet alternative sweetener in it. So he brought home this ginger ale that has like stevia for sweetener, which works well for me, but it had double ginger. It's so delicious, but it sincerely burned all the skin off the inside of my mouth. Just double ginger. So could you imagine what would have happened to me if I tried to eat that chip? I'd just be like a fleshless skull right now.
Well, that's what I felt. I literally felt like that. And I was like, just like
Indiana Jones vibes.
I also felt like people on the call who had done it before me felt like I was like making it up or something. I don't know because I have to say, I think I had the most insane reaction. But then I was like, but everybody's taste buds are different.
Yeah.
You don't know?
Yeah. Everybody's pain level.
I obviously have, well, I can handle a lot of pain. I did offer to put the chip up my cunt. I was like, I could handle the pain in my vagina when I had my children.
Right. It's a different kind of pain, I guess.
It's a different kind of pain, I guess.
Well, I'm going to say, like, I hate anything that's from the neck up. Like, I could probably have surgery on any part of my body and like maybe even without anesthesia and probably I'm exaggerating, but I feel like anything I've ever hurt from the neck down, and I've hurt myself really badly, I could handle, but anything from the neck up that is uncomfortable, I'm out.
Wow.
Wisdom
on
teeth,
that
tonsils, sort throat, pink
my
eye.
lymph node and my sinus update, guys.
Yeah.
Well, my ENT, Dr. Wang, did a culture of my infected sinus just to make sure that he was, and it was this kind of bacteria that is like really resistant to most antibiotics.
Of course.
So I'm still on like an intense antibiotic, but I went to see him 2 days ago and I'm all better. And my sinuses look perfect. My infection's totally gone. My lymph node doesn't hurt anymore.
Thank goodness.
All of it's all good. It's all good. But it really does suck.
Yeah, that's not good. I'm so glad that you're feeling better. I feel like I have a little bit of a sore throat today. I took a COVID test, but like after I left you in New York, I took the train from Manhattan to New Haven, Connecticut, and then I rented a car and drove to Cape Cod to see my mom and to visit my in-laws. But as I've said before on the podcast, anytime I do anything publicly these days, I get something. Whether it's like an infected eye, ear.
Well, we're all like very susceptible right now, I would say.
Yeah. But anyway, had a nice visit in Cape Cod. It was the most Massachusetts-y. I forgot how I went to Dunkin' Donuts every day. And I forgot how many Dunkin' Donuts are in. I wish Josh Gondelman was here to talk about this with me because he would have reminded me how many Dunkin' Donutses are in gas stations, almost all of them. How people in Massachusetts are throwing away their last Dunkin' Donuts cup as they're going into the gas station Dunkin' Donuts to get their next one. They chain drink Dunkin' Donuts, especially on Cape Cod, and how they come out with their new coffee and a stack of scratch-off lottery tickets that they immediately like sit on the edge of the gas station window and scratch. That's what I saw it so many times, and I just forgot that it was a thing. Because, like, does California even have scratch-off tickets?
I don't know.
I don't think I've ever seen a person doing scratch-off lottery tickets. But I sat there, like, just shooting the shit with my mom in the gas station Dunkin' Donuts parking lot, drinking our, like, peppermint mocha lattes. And we were just, like, people watching, and every person came out with such a stack of scratchers.
I used to love scratchers. I think they have them on the West Coast. I don't know. I think it's just like, I don't know. Maybe it's like, it's regional. Like what, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because when I lived in New York, at some point, they might have them now, but at some point there were not scratch tickets in New York, I don't think. And my old writing partner, Alan Katz, used to bring scratchers in from Connecticut so that we could scratch them together in the office at the Rosie O'Donnell show. And they were super complicated. It was like taking a test, scratching these scratch offs. It was very hard to not mess up the scratching off, but also to like tell if you could win. It was like a worksheet. It was way too much thinking. My mom and I were having a conversation. We were wondering if the reason people in Massachusetts seem to buy so many scratch-off tickets is because Massachusetts has a lot of winners. So, you know what I mean? Like, do they give out more money than other places that make people feel like, well, I have a good shot at winning this, so it's like more of a regular habit for them?
Well, I do think that like there's something to be said for like just spreading it out. Well, listen, whether or not you love scratchers, I think it would be fun if lottery people, instead of doing those like big giant like $400 million things, if they were just like, we're gonna do 300,000 ones.
Yeah, that would be, I worked in a drugstore in high school and we sold a huge amount of lottery tickets. Like people just regularly came in to get their like mass millions, mega millions, whatever, their, the drawing lottery, like and I remember that this family used to come in and it was like a mom with a lot of kids. I want to say she had like 4 kids minimum, maybe 5. And they came in this like really old minivan every week, and she would get her lottery tickets every week, and the kids would be like, can I get candy? Can I get and she always was like, no, which I can understand because when you have that many kids. But I did think like, well, maybe like a couple bucks of what you're spending on the lottery. I was like a little judgmental. Maybe a couple bucks could go toward candy once in a while.
Hilarious.
But what did I know? I was a fucking teenager. Which is wild that they let teenagers sell lottery tickets, but they did. That's
interesting, actually.
Yeah, they.
Okay,
I sold lottery tickets and cigarettes, which is again like I don't know if that's legal now, but back then, I did it. But that family won $1 million. And I remember being so struck, like, holy shit, $1 million. That is going to change their life. Like, I wondered if I would, what I would do with $1 million. Like, I just thought that's going to be so life-changing. And sure enough, they rolled up next week in a brand new minivan. Mom came in to buy the same amount of lottery tickets, and the kids asked for candy, and she said no. And I was like, oh, life unchanged. Just a new vehicle. That's it.
Oh, my God. That's really hilarious. Well, I feel like we have amazing guests today. We have Atsuko, who is our guest on our live show, but her special is out.
Yes,
which is so exciting.
Her HBO special is actually, it's going to be out December 10th.
I thought it was out this week.
No, you can see it.
No,
December.
it's this week.
Yeah, this week. Yeah,
it is this week.
It's not out.
I'm not wrong.
It's not out this second. It's out in like a couple days. Yeah,
in a couple days. It's your weekend plans. We're giving you your weekend plans.
And we just love her so much. She's the best.
It's Saturday night. You're going to watch Atsuko's special, and then Michael Ausiello, who's an entertainment reporter and wrote a book called Spoiler Alert, The Hero Dies. And that book has now been turned into a feature film that is in theaters right now called Spoiler Alert. And I have to say, I cried so fucking hard and I loved the movie so much. And I really recommend it. But we have both of those guys coming on as guests. But we have so many other things to like talk about, I feel like.
Tell me what's on your mind.
Well, I don't know. Like, I'm glad that Reverend Warnock won. Obviously, we already
very
started
relieved
with that. Yeah,
I wasn't. I have to say, I wasn't nervous.
I wasn't
again because the same people that I followed for the midterms that were like very confident that this was going to go our way and had very sound reasoning and weren't relying on like bullshit fake polls or whatever. They both were very confident. Christopher Boozy and Al Giordano, both on Twitter, were sort of making a good case for why they thought it was going to go our way the whole time. Al Giordano swears that was the last thing he's ever going to do on Twitter and he's leaving. So, and he was already private anyway. So if you weren't already following him, but I think he's on that new Post social media, so you can follow him there.
What is that? What are we doing? What is that?
Post is like, some people are on Mastodon. Some people have accounts on Post. Some people are on Hive. I haven't settled on what my new Twitter is going to be. I got to be honest.
I don't know where to go.
And maybe I just don't go anywhere. Maybe I just take a break from that and
we should
just stay on the Substack. And like, we have the Facebook group is very active. Busy and we want to say thank you because on our Facebook group, listeners self-organized like a little holiday gift exchange, and Busy and I signed up and we sent off our gifts, and now we're waiting for our gifts to come. And so I don't want to say what the gifts are in case they didn't arrive to people yet, but it was really fun, and I just think it's fun to be waiting for a little present to come.
I do too.
Yeah.
I love presents.
Yeah. And I feel bad because everybody else sort of like said who they are and what their interests were so that you could like pick a good gift for them. But we didn't really fill that out because I guess we figure we spend 3 hours talking about who we are and what our interests are every week. So ours will just be like someone's best guess of what we would like.
That's exciting though.
It
That
is
in and of itself
exciting.
is exciting.
It is exciting. I think it's exciting, except for there have been times when I've gotten like office Secret Santa gifts where I'm like, what kind of personality am I putting out? Like, what? Like, what is like, if you get like batteries or something, I'm like, what am I telling people? I always think it's like, it's something that I think it's like what I'm telling people about myself as opposed to what it says about the person who got the gift, you know?
I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I guess I'll go wherever. Like, I mean, Twitter wise, or I don't have to. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, maybe
I
we
don't
just
know.
get that. We just reclaim that time back into our lives. I don't know.
I don't really spend that much time on Twitter, but I will say that I sort of use it as news, like a news.
Well, that's the real tragedy,
Right.
especially in places that have only state-sponsored media. That's where they were getting news about like where they live.
Right.
But for me, I was just like getting news, but also fucking around on Twitter. But I have to say, I looked at Twitter this morning. I opened it and like my timeline is broken. Like yesterday, my whole entire feed was just tweets from this woman, Brandy, who's a comedian in Minneapolis, who I love, but that's all my timeline was. That's all. It was only tweets from her over the last 24 hours. And she tweeted quite a bit, but there should have been other things mixed in. And then this morning I opened it and all it was tweets from 15 hours ago. And I kept refreshing it and I never got anything newer than 11 hours old on my timeline. So I feel like it's finally breaking down.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yeah. Which is, it's weird. It's almost like, not to anthropomorphize or like give life to something that's not, you know, but it's a place where I met a lot of amazing people and talked to a lot of amazing people over the years. And it's a place where I got affirmation and confirmation that I was funny and that I could write jokes in my own voice that people would appreciate. And, you know, it's been like the better part of 15 years of my life, like a regular part of it. So it's a little weird to watch it sort of swirl down the toilet.
Well, you know it's my favorite. You know what my favorite is. Guys, you know. ZocDoc. And listen, tis the season.
You've been leaning very heavily on ZocDoc lately, I feel like.
Tis the season to book my appointments with my ENT via ZocDoc. Guys, you wouldn't like when you make restaurant reservations now, I know you just use an app. And I know that like if you decide to try a new restaurant, you look on your little app and you're like, oh, there's reviews from what other people say about this restaurant. I don't feel like French food tonight. I'm going to go with this other restaurant. Well, that's what ZocDoc does for you, except for doctors. It helps you navigate the very often unnecessarily difficult task of finding quality doctors in your network, in your neighborhood who can see you with real verified patient reviews. And you can find the right doctor for you. It's easy to book. I did it 3 times in the past week.
Wow.
Just FYI. It's really so user friendly. And ZocDoc is a free app.
Yeah.
A free app that shows you the doctors who are patient reviewed, take your insurance, and are available to see you when you need to see them.
Which is the best thing.
That's the best part.
Who's like pre-shopping for a doctor in case
no one
get a sinus infection? Nobody.
Except I do want to say this. Here's the only doctor you should pre-shop for if you have children, a pediatric plastic surgeon.
Oh, okay. That's good advice.
You should just have their number.
Yeah.
Just in case like your kid falls into a cabinet or something and like
Well, ZocDoc can help you find that.
This is what I'm saying. You can go to ZocDoc.com and find a doctor that is right for you. Every month, millions of people use ZocDoc. I am 100% one of them. It is my go-to whenever I need to find. And now that I've found a bunch of great doctors on ZocDoc, it's whenever I need to book them. It's just easier.
So easy.
It's so
because
easy.
Managing your calendar is so difficult, and ZocDoc just finds an appointment when you're available, when the doctor's available, and it's so much easier than trying to have that conversation with a person, frankly.
Yes, who's like, can you please hold? Sorry. Okay, what were we looking at? We were looking at the 17th. Wait, okay, the 15th? Great. Okay, wait, I'm sorry. Can you please hold? No, none of that. ZocDoc is where it's at. Go to ZocDoc.com/doingherbest and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then start your search for a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours. That's ZocDoc, ZocDoc.com/doingherbest, ZocDoc.com/doingherbest. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Guys, 'tis the season. We're navigating a lot of challenges right now. And unfortunately, life doesn't really come with a user manual. Sometimes it's easy to feel stuck. And I know the holidays are coming up, and the holidays can be a particularly tricky time for some people. And sometimes it sneaks up on you, and you don't know that it's tricky.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, I'm fine at the holidays. And then all of a sudden, you're not feeling great.
Right.
And therapy is truly a thing that we can all get behind. We can all use the help and BetterHelp. Honestly, whether it's like coping skills, self-esteem or empowerment, dealing with trauma, just the blues.
Yeah.
BetterHelp has matched 3 million people with professionally licensed and vetted therapists, available 100% online. It's affordable. It's the world's largest therapy service. You just fill out a brief questionnaire to match with a therapist. And if things aren't clicking with that therapist, here's the good news. You can easily switch to a new therapist anytime. It couldn't be simpler. There's no waiting rooms. There's no waiting in traffic, no endless searching for the right therapist. BetterHelp will help you. And if you're having a feeling like so many people are, which is just like overwhelm, maybe you're not even aware that therapy could be a thing that could help you in this moment. I think that sometimes people are like, no, it's just I have too much. Like it's just I feel overwhelmed. I just have too much. Guess what? Therapy can help you put that too much into places where you can deal with it and help you start to feel better like immediately. I return again and again when I feel stuck, when I feel overwhelmed. I know that my therapist is the person that I need to reach out to and set an appointment. And listen, BetterHelp.com/busy. You can learn more and save 10% off your first month. And again, it's affordable. It's online. And therapists are trained to help you figure out the stuff that's causing challenging emotions and help you learn productive coping skills, and give you the tools to move through this like complicated and intense world that we all live in. So learn more, save 10% off your first month at BetterHelp.com/busy. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/busy. I was at a thing last night and like people were like, oh no, I was at a thing 2 nights. I've been at so many things. Tis the season.
Yeah.
Tis the season for things. And then people are like back, but it's also fundraising season. Like there's lots of like different kinds of fundraiser things happening. And I went, my friend Gail Simmons invited me to be her guest at the Children of Conflict. They call it a wassail.
Wassail.
It's like, they're wassail.
Like you caroled or?
No, it was like it was like the Mumford and Sons. It was like a performance thing.
I got it.
Because Marcus Mumford and Carrie Mulligan like are big supporters of the Children of Conflict, or in the UK it's called War Child UK.
Oh, great.
And so it's a fundraiser that the money all goes to improving the lives of children affected by war around the world. But what was my point about that? Oh, so I went to that the other night.
Yeah.
And then I went to the Choose Love pop-up shop yesterday with my Girls 5 Eva ladies.
So fun.
And
it was
Choose
nice
Love.
to see you guys together again.
Well, it was like the best thing because honestly, remember you were there when I was like, I wanted to get out of it.
Yeah.
Well, it's not that I wasn't. We weren't excited to do it. It was just that
had
like
a lot
this
going on.
Everybody has a lot going on this week. We're like leading up to the holidays, right? People are stressed out. I'm stressed out, and I have a lot going on. I am going to LA tomorrow morning for a fundraiser that I'm doing with the girls from Doen who make the beautiful dresses I love for Planned Parenthood. So I'm like doing that, and I had agreed to that many moons ago.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, it is a full moon.
Yes.
Today. So full moon in Gemini, that's you, baby.
That's me. It's my time.
But like, so it wasn't that we all didn't want to do the Carpool Karaoke TV show, which is not the thing with James Corden. Apparently now Carpool Karaoke just has its own show.
It's self-driving like a Tesla.
Like a Tesla, babies. And except you drive a Range Rover on the show. And it wasn't that we didn't all want to do it. It was just that like the timing of it is tricky.
Yeah, it was difficult.
Because it was difficult. Sarah Bareilles' birthday is today. So anyway, last week we were like, maybe we should just push it, like punt it to closer to when our show's coming back, and we want to do it, but maybe we just do it then. But they were like, the wheels were set in motion, so we can't do it. It's like a production. It's a whole thing. So we're like, okay, great, let's do it. I had the idea because my friend Dawn, who does Choose Love, which is an incredible organization too. If you're looking for good gifts for people who have everything, highly recommend Choose Love. Go on their website. I think it's chooselove.org. And you can like purchase items for children or, people who are fleeing also like war-torn countries, refugees, like escaping violence, like and it's everything from like you can buy these packages like everything a family of 4 needs to help for 1 month basically.
That's great.
And then they give you like a cute little gift card and you can give it to your friends being like, hey, instead of giving you some useless shit, we got really useful things for people who really need it. Anyway, so I had the idea. I knew they were doing their like pop-up shop in New York for the holidays. And I was like, why don't we go there and like, volunteer and do a thing instead of just like doing some weird thing like bits, it's all bits all the time. So we did, and it was like really great. And
good.
And I was happy to do it. And also like we had the most fun doing the carpool karaoke of it. But even like when I woke up in the morning, I was just like, I didn't want to do it, Like I was just like, there's too many other things happening in my life. Like there's too much of a mess everywhere. I need to like clean things. I need to like get organized. I don't have my holiday plans. I don't even know when I'm traveling. Like I don't know what we're doing. I don't know what my kids are doing. It's just a lot, like I feel very overwhelmed. But then it was so heart filling to be with my friends who I do that TV show with and to sing like Dua Lipa and George Michael Freedom and I say a little prayer for, like, we sang these songs in the car. I don't know if they all make it onto the show or whatever, but we had the best time. And then in the middle of it, the producer radios into our car because they're like in front of you. There's cars like in front of you and behind you that are with the production. But like Renee was really driving. And then there's all these cameras like everywhere. But the producer radios in and he's like, guys, we have breaking news. And I literally was like, oh my God, something terrible happened, like war. Like that was where my brain went.
Yeah,
he's
that's
like,
where your brain goes.
He's like, Renee. And then I was like, oh no, oh God, please. Like, I'm like, I don't know why. I was preparing myself for something terrible. And then he was like, Renee, you were just nominated for a Critics' Choice Award for Best Actress in a Comedy Series for Girls 5 Eva. And we started screaming. And it was like the greatest moment ever. And I felt like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I was like, none of us wanted to do the thing yesterday because we all have so many things happening.
Yes.
But that we got to be together for that moment when Renee found out that she was nominated for our show is like, I can't even imagine another scenario in which that would have been possible. And it was so awesome because, first of all, like, she's so good in season 2 of our show. And I did sort of feel like it was sad to me that more people weren't getting a chance to like really see how brilliant she is.
Yeah.
You know, because it just, you know, because it was hard to find the show. A lot of people don't have, whatever. Anyway, and we were just like all so excited. And like, and we talked about it after the thing too. Like, I do just feel like any accolades that any of us get for the show feels like a win for all of us.
For all of you.
Yeah. And like, not in a way that I'm like trying to like take credit for anyone else's thing. I'm like just so genuinely proud of the work that Renee did and does. But like, I love to watch it. I love to see it. And I love how truly generous like everyone on that show is. Like, you know, like, this is a bit of a Hollywood break, I guess, but like, you know, a lot of times when you're doing comedy, there's a thing that I have for years called competitive improv. I've on sets.
Right.
And that's where like, you know, there's always an opportunity to like, if there's an opportunity to throw in an extra joke, oftentimes what will end up happening is competitive improv where actors are like fighting for a joke. Or if like you say something, this used to happen on another show I was on. Like I would say something, I would come up with like a joke, but then the next take, someone else would take it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like whoever gets it first, kind of like it's it's like stupid. It's also dumb. Like
that's how it is in writers' rooms too.
Right. But we're like we're all on TV, guys. Like you know?
Right.
And I've always hated it. And I would be a lot of times I would just like bow out because I'm like, I'm not into competitive improv. And on Girls 5 Eva, what's so incredible, because the four of us are funny and we all have our own like pitches and our own jokes and whatever, is that it literally the opposite of competitive improv happens with the four of us, where like we will pitch jokes for each other to each other, like, but not in like a way. It's just like, also, like if Meredith has a pitch of a joke in a scene and she gives it to one of us, if we feel like it's one of the other characters, like more so makes sense for them to say it, we give it, like we all do that. Yeah. So, you know, like Renee before has been like, I feel like that's like a Dawn joke. Like, I don't know if that's a wiki joke, you know, and I don't know. It's just, it's rare to be in a creative space with four such supremely talented, genius people that I get to watch every day and feel so lucky to be a part of. And then to be able to celebrate Renee's nomination, it really did feel like it's an honor just to be next to
Yeah.
someone nominated.
It was so fortuitous. And I'm so happy. I mean, you're all super talented, but she is like, when you're talking about like a triple threat in entertainment, like they can act, they can sing, they can dance. She's like a sextuple threat, I feel like, because she can sing, she can act, she can dance, but she's also funny, but she's also gifted in like theater and on camera, but also she's so
everything.
emotionally intelligent and curious, like that who she is as a person when she's not playing a character is also really incredible.
Dynamic. Really dynamic.
Yeah, she's got it all, and you all are amazing, and I'm so happy that you guys were together. I'm glad that you went.
Yeah, me too. Well, I mean, I had no choice, but like, I'm glad that I'm glad that the powers that be, when like the four of us were like, should we see if we can do this in the spring instead of like this week? The powers that be were like, actually, no, we've already done too much groundwork for this, and like we got it. We have to do it. It would be a big bummer if we didn't do it today, this week.
Right.
I'm just so grateful that was all in motion so that we could have this moment, which is, just again goes to show you guys, you just show up. You know what I mean? Because you never know what the universe has got in store for you.
Yeah.
And then last night I went to a dinner for Carla Welch. Oh my God, it's just too much stuff. It's too much.
Stylist Carla Welch. You guys know her. You follow her on Instagram, I'm sure.
And she
Friend
filled
of
me in on
Busy's.
some super exciting period stuff that she'll be able to share. We'll be able to share in the future.
Great. Period is like her
The
period
period
underwear
underwear.
company.
Uh-huh.
That's so great.
I know. And I don't even remember what the point was. It was something, I was going to say something about I was at a party. I don't know. It was something about the party that I was at.
At Carla's party?
Yeah. And like, I don't know. I don't remember now. But it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
And it was raining.
Oh my goodness. I know. Yeah. I feel like I'm identifying very strongly with what you said. I went to Massachusetts, and I would like to shout out where I stayed, which is the Anchor Inn in Hyannis. They literally, Sandy and the gang, this is just a place I found on an app as I was driving to Cape Cod. Sandy and the gang there treated me like I was family and it was my house. That place had like a little library that you could sit in.
I love it.
By the fire,
I'll go there.
overlooking the harbor. You have to go there. Watching the boats in the harbor, in making myself hot chocolate and tea and coffee. And
How was your
Sandy-
mom?
She was great. I mean, she hung out. They treated my mom like she was a queen. I stayed at a place because I didn't want my mom to worry about like hosting me and fussing over me. Also, she lives in a small place, and I feel uncomfortable after having traveled. Like I could potentially infect my mom. So I like to stay somewhere where I'm
It's
like
very conscientious. I think it's really
I'm
nice.
just like sleeping in a room that's separate. Anyway, they treated my mom like a queen when she came to visit me over just the course of a few days. And it was so funny because we went, and this is a place that's been like family owned business for like 70 years, I think. And recently a corporation purchased it. And so everybody was talking a lot about like, well, some things are going to change, but we're trying to like maintain the family feeling. And they really treated me like I was part of the family. And it was I felt like I was in a holiday special because there was like a holiday event going on in Hyannis. It's called like the Stroll, where everybody strolls down Main Street, and like there's jugglers and people doing ice sculptures, and all the businesses are out on the streets like giving samples of food. And there's like a light up boat parade, which we watched from the grounds of the hotel. But there were so many. My mom came the first night that I was there, and we were sitting in the library with our masks on, but sitting by the fire and having tea and cookies, whatever, saltwater taffy, whatever the fuck you eat on Cape Cod. And people were just checking in, like coming in from the cold, checking in, everybody with like their festive scarves and hats and all bundled up and coming in to get tea and talking to us about the big weekend and everything. And it was really, really really sweet and wonderful. And highly recommend. Like, they know what they're doing at that place. Like, they know. Oh, we watched the boat parade, and they started up like the fire pit for us outside, so we'd be warm sitting outside watching the boat parade. And then they were like, they knew that we were like vibing on the library, spending a lot of time in there, and they were like, just FYI, tonight from 5 to 8, we're having like our staff Christmas party, and we're using the library, so it won't be open. And we were like, yeah, that's fine. We're like hanging out outside, and we'll probably go to dinner or whatever. And then when we came in from the boat parade at about 6 o'clock, we were chilly, and we were like, I was like, let me just go get some stuff from my room, and then we can go to dinner. And then the entire staff was like, no, come in. There's seats in the library. Come in to our party. Like, they invited us into their staff party, and we're like, they were like, make a plate. We have way too much food. Get cake. They poured my mom the biggest glass of wine I've ever seen in my life, and I was like playing Jenga with one of the children of the staff members, and it's just really, really sweet. And I felt like I was in like that Muppet Christmas special where everyone goes to Fozzie's mom's house. I don't know if you're familiar, but if you are, you'll know exactly what it felt like being at that place. But anyway, just had a really nice time. And then, but yeah, traveling by yourself is rough. And I made it, well, you gave me my Christmas gift. I was bound and determined just to have like a small bag when I went, and I didn't bring an extra bag. That was my mistake. You gave me my Christmas gift. We exchanged gifts when we saw each other. Mm-hmm. And yours was, it's like a good size. That would have been fine. Don't be sorry. Don't apologize.
Guys, I got Caissie. Can we tell?
Yeah. Got? Yeah.
Okay. I got Caissie the Dyson Airwrap styler,
which is, it's really great, and I love it, and I thank you so much.
And part of the reason why I got it for her was because I accidentally ordered 2 a long time ago, but also because I know she really likes using her like very affordable Revlon one, but I also know that she bleaches her hair, and that the Revlon one you're not able to like control the temperature. Yeah. And I think that the Dyson one is a little bit in that regard.
Yeah. Yeah.
For me, for my money, that Dyson thing, Airwrap styler, is the best money I've ever spent.
Yeah.
Because there's all these like styling tools that, yes, I had to watch YouTube tutorials to figure out how to do, but like literally can do my hair and it looks professional. For instance, they offered to book me hair and makeup for carpool karaoke yesterday.
And you were like, no, don't need it.
Well, it's not that I don't need it. It's just that like, and guys, I know you listening at home, I get it. It sounds like a real luxury for someone to come over and do your hair and makeup for you. And it is, and it's lovely. However, it also is like solid hour and a half of your time that you're sitting in a chair.
Yeah.
And like, if you are in the midst of chaos, as I am in this moment, I'm like, I don't have that time. I will just do my own hair and makeup.
Right.
And because I can do it in 30, you know?
Yeah. Hollywood break, hair and makeup, even though I love every hair and makeup artist I've ever worked with, it's also, as like a producer or writer, the most frustrating time, because that's the time when you often need to talk to your host or your talent about what they're about to do. And hair and makeup always is like having like either their own conversation amongst themselves or with the talent, where they're like, oh, so I was telling you about that vacation, and I'm like, I just need to talk to her about the monologue. And so that is difficult. And then also the blow dryers are noisy, and it's hard to like accomplish work when those blow dryers are blowing. Or when you have to like make a kissy face or do whatever with your eyes. It's like that's crunch time on a show, and and it's really, really difficult.
You can't talk. Remember, like when I was doing hair and makeup for the commercial thing we were filming.
Yeah.
And I couldn't she was like, Busy, can you please stop talking for 2 seconds so that I can just finish lining your lips?
Because everyone's just trying to do their job. Everyone's just trying to do their job, but it all happens at the same time. And so if you're ever building a schedule for a television show, maybe consider the fact that no real work is getting done during the hour of hair and makeup, even though you think that that's true. But anyway, you got me that Dyson thing.
But it's a lot to pack. And I did think about it, and I did think that I should have offered to ship it back for you. I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize at all. It was so generous and I love it. That would have been fine. But here's what else happened is that I was like, I just need to find a bag. Because I only brought one bag, I still was like allotted my personal item. So I was like, I just need to find a bag that I can put this blow dryer in, and then my little purse can like fit in there, and then that'll be my personal item. And then my mom gave me a number of family things that she wanted to for me to have, and that was fine. That also, but then I needed to find space for those things, and again, glad to have them. My mother-in-law gave me some bottle brush trees from the 1940s.
Hey, what? Can I see them?
Yes, I'll send you a little pic of them.
Please. Well, we can post them too.
And yes, those weren't big at all. They're very tiny, but I wanted to make sure that they were properly protected because they're, they look like they're from the 1940s. Like they've seen.
I have my grandma's Christmas ornaments. I have some of my grandma's like vintage, antique Christmas ornaments from the 40s.
And then I was like, now that I'm where I'm at with the bottle brush trees and the family heirlooms and the blow dryer, I'm going to go to the grocery store and buy for my husband, Matt, the only thing that he loves as much as he loves me, Entenmann's fudge ice golden cakes.
And this is a thing that's only available on the East Coast?
It's not available on the West Coast. I know that.
I didn't know.
Yeah. No. And so, but they may be available like up to like the middle of the country. I don't know. You tell us, listeners. But they were available where I was. And I was like, I'm just going to try to get these cakes. And like, anyway, I carried 3 cakes on a plane, a very small plane, leaving Providence, Rhode Island. It's a miracle that they made it home, but it all made it home and it was all fine. But it was a challenge. It was a challenge. And I was by myself and I felt very precarious the entire time. If I had showed up at home with smashed cakes, I would have been bummed out.
Well, yeah, no one wants a smashed cake.
Yeah, exactly.
But also the present that Caissie got for me that originally exploded, but then made it, is this genius set, like kit, that is for pickers, for people who pick. And it's like a special kind of like silicone-y paint that goes onto a lava rock. And then it comes with some picking things that you can use. It's gone. I've lost it to Birdie.
Oh, no.
Birdie's favorite thing in the world. Birdie saw it immediately and was like, "Oh, you got me one?" And I was like, I did not. Caissie got it for me. But you, my love, may use the picking thing, the picking toy. But Birdie's already obsessed and has done it like 5 times.
Oh, I'm glad Birdie likes it. And
but then, it is like, I can't wait to do it, but I just have to, I'm going to let Birdie experience that first. And then the Gina sweater, is it from, did you get it on Etsy? Where did the Gina sweater come from?
It's from a company called Knitwise that does like a beautiful job. I think,
oh my God.
I think the company is in Asia. So I was like a little worried about whether it would get here on time or like how that would go. But I have to say, like, Knitwise doesn't sponsor the podcast, but they are super wonderful. And they worked with me on picking the best picture of Gina that would work to get knitted into this sweater. For Busy.
Guys,
and
I love it so much. I'm just only not wearing it today because the rain has made it weirdly like hot here.
Like muggy. Yeah.
Yeah. But also the girl that's been babysitting for us, Quinn, became obsessed with it and is like, how long does it take to get one of these done? I was like, Quinn, I don't know. It's a present. I don't know the answer to this. I don't know.
It didn't
So how
really
long?
take. It didn't really take that long. I
wonder if people still have time.
I don't think people still have time to order it for the holidays, but I do think that you can get like a electronic gift card, which I always love because also then if people are getting like a sweater with their pet on it or whatever, then they can choose the photo that they want. Maybe it's a photo of 2 pets, whatever, but you can get everything. You can get blankets, pillows, sweaters.
So here's what we need to do for this podcast.
You name it.
Because we're gonna go back to a little visual guide. So let's post our gifts.
Yeah, we'll post gifts, but also we should do like a little gift guide on the Substack maybe for people that are looking.
Oh, let's do it.
Yeah, for ideas and like offbeat ideas because I love an offbeat idea.
Me too. And we don't have any commerce thing set up yet, so we're not going to get any kickback.
No. I mean, like I just feel like I don't even care because the things that I like, I just really, and that company Knitwise like really came through and did a beautiful job on that sweater for you. And I was so happy it came out so cute.
I know. I need to I really feel behind on gifts.
Oh God. You know what I did yet? I'm behind on gifts, but I was so happy that like yours was ready for the time when I was going to see you. But for my husband, Matt, I actually did a gift that I made that I was so I didn't make it, but like my husband, you know, he works at a grocery store and they wear colorful shirts.
We've said what grocery store? Before.
I never want to say just because like, you know, I don't want to blow up his spot, whatever. But anyway,
well, there's like a million of them.
But he likes to wear colorful pants that go with the colorful shirts. And there are many colors of shirts. And so, but his favorite work pants are Dickies. And it is rare for them to come in any kind of color that's not gray, khaki or navy or black. So anyway, I ordered some khaki and some gray Dickies and I used Rit dye, good old Rit dye, to take the color out of them. And then I dyed some pants for him, but I already gave them to him, which is why I can tell you because it was like hard to do. I was trying to do it for Christmas, but then I made them yesterday, 2 pairs. And they came out so great that I thought maybe he would want to wear them like in the run up to the holiday season and be festive at work. But I made a beautiful like a aquamarine blue pair and like an emerald green pair, and they came out so good. And
ooh, I like that.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm gonna do also like maybe like a yellow, like a mustard yellow pair and like a cherry red pair. And yeah, so anyway, I was really proud of myself. It came out good. If I can do dyeing, like I know tie-dye is like a project that everybody did over the pandemic, but like don't forget about dyeing, guys. Dyeing you can take something that you don't love in your closet because like maybe it's not the right color and you have options with dyeing and it's really easy. And if I can do it and it wasn't like a huge mess, I don't forget dyeing. Dyeing is a thing.
Guys, don't forget it. Don't forget about it.
I think I forget about it.
Let's not forget about
Don't forget dyeing. Good old Rit dye is still your friend. But you have to shop. You're like so behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm behind on everything.
But it's only December 7th. Right now.
It's already done. It's already over. This is what I feel like. Do you know what I mean? I really feel like that. I really feel like it's already over. And my mom is like, I'm having like a little bit of, I'm just having some like family stuff that's,
yeah.
And I'm like also feeling conflicted about, like, I'm just feeling conflicted about like what my plans are, my travel plans are, or like where I even want to be or what I want to do. I'm supposed to do that Thrilling Adventure Hour show,
right?
Like the weekend before the holidays sort of start. And well, i.e. my children are the weekend before my kids are off school.
Yeah.
Or they start to be off school. And I'm like feeling like that's a lot of traveling for me to go to LA and then back to New York to get the kids to go to see my family. But then also like my dad's having surgery and my mom is like, I don't know. It's just a lot. Like I just,
right. It's a lot.
I feel overwhelmed. And yeah, like I'm trying my best at keeping it all in perspective and like being grateful for the things that I'm grateful for and having, you know, so much. I have so much, like I have an expansive amount of being truly grateful for the things in my life. It's just, this time is really complicated. And I think also because of Mark and my separation, divorce, and the kids, it's like more, it's hitting me in like a different way this year. Yeah. It's confusing me a little bit. Yeah. Also, my father-in-law's, former father-in-law, but whatever, he's my father. The guy that was my father, Mark's dad. How about that? My kid's grandfather. Yeah. Birdie called Mark's parents by their, what did she say to me? She said, my dad's mom. And I was like, Mimi? And she's like, well, yeah, but she's not your Mimi. And I was like, dude, okay. You don't have to like change the way that you talk about your grandparents because anyway. But it was Mark's dad's birthday yesterday. Yeah. And you know, he's not been doing great, but he's hanging in and he's got like a neurological thing similar to MS. Yeah. And it's been a hard year and a half. Yeah. But this is just like again, like just universe stuff. Birdie went with her friend / like babysitter. Yeah. to Lula to see Little Women. They were doing like a screening of it for the holidays because it's, you know, it's such like a holiday-ish movie. And randomly, they just decided to go to Katz's Deli for dinner, which is Mark's dad's favorite restaurant from all time, like from when he like lived here in the 40s and 50s and 60s. So anyway, just like on his birthday, they like had dinner. Birdie had dinner at Katz's, and I just thought it was so sweet. Like,
yeah, genetics is a powerful
genetics
thing.
Are just really powerful.
That's what I told my son Lincoln. He put an Instagram story of the screenplay of It's a Wonderful Life, and just with the caption, "It's time." And I just was like, genetics is so powerful, man. It's such a powerful thing because, like, everybody has a favorite movie, but It's a Wonderful Life is like a thing for me. Like, it's like a thing. I watch it usually every night in December. And
really?
Yeah. I have a few movies that I watch like nightly in certain months, and most of them involve Prince. I'm gonna be honest, but It's a Wonderful Life is a thing. Prince also loved It's a Wonderful Life. So it just gives it double meaning. But to see, like, I never pushed it on my kids. Like, I watch it on my own in my room. Like, I put it on late at night when I'm just like getting things done before going to sleep. And so I think my kids maybe saw it like once or twice during their lifetime, like if it happened to be on or whatever. And to just see like how it's a thing for Lincoln is so funny to me. And we're really excited because we're going to the Ed Asner Family Center, which is this organization that Ed Asner's family maintains, that does amazing things for people. They're hosting like a virtual table read of the script of It's a Wonderful Life, and I think Brendan Fraser is gonna be George Bailey, and it has an amazing cast. And so we're gonna get a ticket to watch that together. I think on Sunday,
That's exciting.
we're so excited. to see that. But yeah, genetics, it's powerful, right? It's so weird.
Drives you to go to Katz's Deli.
And to obsess over It's a Wonderful Life, I guess.
And to obsess over It's a Wonderful Life. And also for Birdie to be just like a really intense feminist. And I did want to just talk about this a little bit.
Yeah, please.
I would like some like, I'm gonna get parenting help from like the parenting people that the therapist people. But I also just want to talk about this because like I feel like people have teenagers, they have teen girls or teens who feel things.
Teens who
I think a lot of teens feel things right now, like not that teens have not felt things. I mean, teens are always feeling.
Yeah.
Teens are the most feeling of the feelings.
They're made of feelings.
They're made of fucking feelings. And, Birdie's definitely my child and pays attention and is aware of the world and is also just in recent months become so acutely aware of boys in their grade sort of becoming or displaying or testing out, I don't know what version. These are kids that everybody's learning, right?
Yeah.
What seems like in the way that Birdie describes it, like a lot of like toxic masculine qualities, in class. And Birdie goes to like a progressive school and they have a lot of like debates in the classroom and they talk about a lot of like, pretty intense subjects, some of which land really close to home for Birdie because it's not like a hypothetical for Bird.
Right.
Birdie identifies as, certain ways that like, I think then when they get into these discussions in class for some of the kids, it's like they're able to discuss it and be removed from it in some way. But for Birdie, it's very, very difficult.
It's personal.
It's very personal. And I'm talking about like gender studies and sexuality stuff but also history. Like that has been really interesting. I'm grateful. Like I know a lot about the curriculum at the school that my kids go to. And I'm grateful that they do like a very inclusive history curriculum.
Yeah.
For, it's like, they're aware of how they, education needs to be more inclusive of the whole truth of the history, especially of our country. Right.
Right.
And they honor that. And like a lot of the lessons like center around that.
Right.
But they also let the kids debate a lot of things. And so, there have been like these debates recently in the last month for their equivalent to social studies class. Yeah. Whatever they call it. Why do all the classes have to have different weird names? You know what I mean? I'm like, just call it what I know it's to
true.
Be.
Yes.
Why does it have to be so hard? I guess it is.
Yeah.
And Birdie's like, okay. I'm just going to share this because I'm really having a hard time,
Yeah.
But yesterday after we wrapped Carpool Karaoke and we decided to go get a late ladies lunch to celebrate Sarah Bareilles' birthday.
Yeah.
Which is today. And I was sitting there and I knew Birdie was in like one of these classes.
Mm-hmm.
And she texts me, I'm so angry all the time. I don't want to be mom. And I wrote back like, I know, honey. And she wrote, I'm a bad person, a really bad person. And I'm like, you're not a bad person. You are fighting a thing that feels unjust and feels crazy making. And you're not a bad person for being angry about the injustice that you see around you and the ease with which these boys move through the world. Because that's really what, when Birdie comes home at night and we like have a chance to watch The Crown together, and then like Birdie will chat about a thing that happened or whatever, what I'm realizing is that it's the ease that the boys move through the world and move through things like debates about hypothetical people left out of the Declaration of Independence, to them hypothetical. You know what I mean? Like, because it doesn't really affect them.
Right.
And I was trying to say to Bird, I'm like, I do think it's about figuring out the best way to channel your feelings and not letting like your feelings of anger at injustice oppress you. Right. But I don't know how to have that. I don't know how to help the kid practice that or put it into practice. Like Birdie literally was like, I have the urge to hit this one boy every day.
Right.
Like that's something, and Birdie said, that's something a bad person would do. And I was like, it's not. I get it. Like I really understand. And also I don't know how to help Birdie figure out how to channel it somewhere else. And also because my fear would be that the message received would be like, you aren't allowed to be angry, or you're not allowed to feel rage about these things. You know what I mean? And I want to be really mindful of the fact that like, I'm with her. Like, this sucks, you know? But like, how... And fucking also, I want like moms of boys to be more like you, Caissie. But like, I don't know what else to do here. Like I've had conversations with the dean. We've had conversations with her world teacher, who is also, by the way, the world teacher's incredible and is like the head of the feminist club that Birdie's a part of at the school, and is aware of the dynamics. But it's like, at the end of the day, the messages that these kids, especially the boys, are still getting culturally are allowing for this thing to like continue to be perpetrated.
Yeah.
You know?
It's really hard because even if moms took it upon themselves to, to make things different with boys, it's really not enough. Like, I was very lucky. You have to have, like, everybody has to be on the same team, and everybody, like, you need dads too to be like, this is the mission. And you need mom and dad to be on the same page to be like, and when we see something else being reinforced that we don't like, we have to present a united front and speak up about, like, that's not how we're teaching our kids. It's really hard.
Because it's also like so many, like, I mean, you literally just said it, but it's so many layers.
Yes.
It is so many layers.
It's so many layers. And like, we've had this conversation about how, like, so many people are doing so many things right, and it's still so hard because even the best guy is still raised in this world where all of this shit is like ingrained, where they can just walk around playing devil's advocate, not ever even realizing that the thing that they're just, mulling over and just thinking about for funsies is like someone's real fucking life and
yes, that's exactly it.
Their lived experience. For Bird, I just feel like here's something and maybe this will be helpful to you. Maybe this will be helpful to people listening, grown-ups listening, but maybe helpful for Bird too. I do a lot of like reverse engineering situations, and I realize, I want to say before I even explain what I'm talking about, I realize that it sounds like, a lot of times when like a kid is bad in school and you've seen it in a million after school specials, like a well-meaning parent will say, well, like put yourself in their shoes. Like maybe things are rough at home. That's like a trope.
Right.
Like if you look a little deeper, maybe they have a lot going on and that's why they act the way. I don't believe I'm not saying that. I think everybody does things for whatever the reason may be. It doesn't offer an excuse for bad behavior or for ignorant behavior. There is no excuse for it. That is that's a sore spot. It's a sticking spot with a lot of people. But at the end of the day, it's your job, whether you're a kid or a grown up or whatever, to figure out what your bad, ignorant spots are. It's nobody's responsibility to point that out to you. But I will say that for me, and I was a super angry kid, and I think my mom was a super angry person when I was a kid. And so that's where I learned it. And anger can be useful. It can be a useful tool to motivate you to do things. But it can also be kind of terrible because if you're just marinating in anger and it just becomes your default behavior and then you find yourself, it's so easy just to get angry at everything and to see the injustice in everything and what's wrong with everything. And that's just not a fun way to live. It's like living with a stomach ache isn't a fun way to live.
No, and I feel like we've literally talked about this in vis-a-vis me.
Yeah.
Recently. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm so aware of the fact that my kid is in the same way that I am a lot of these boys are really this is their parents coming through them.
Yeah.
I'm aware that a lot of the stuff that Birdie is having this very intense reaction to is from me.
Right.
And from my sort of consistent, since Birdie was a very small person, acknowledging, pointing out, using the opportunity when Birdie was little and would say a thing that was gendered, more favorably toward boys or whatever, to sort of gently guide Birdie to see and by the way, I haven't done it as much with cricket. I'm just going to say it. I just haven't.
Right.
But Birdie got so much one-on-one me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Your second kid just doesn't get the same.
Right.
But anyway, I see the whole thing. I see the whole picture. I'm not just here being these other moms really have a fucking issue.
Right.
I understand that Birdie's taking a lot of what I have projected and put into her beautiful little brain.
Right.
And is really processing and internalizing it in an intense way. And I guess I'm just I just sort of need more guidance in terms of how to help the kid literally make it through middle school.
Well, I think that when I'm talking about reverse engineering, I think that little kids, how there's always the joke about how little kids say, why is that? Why that?
Right.
Why, how does that? That is where, when I'm really feeling enraged by something, that is what I start to do. Ask why and why and why. And it kind of works like improv. It kind of works like yes and, but it's backwards, where you're why am I feeling like this? What is the feeling? Like, why am I feeling like this? And listen to the answer. It makes me feel powerless. It makes me feel misunderstood. It makes me feel whatever. Okay. And then why do I feel powerless? Well, because the person that's making me feel this way has more power, I feel, than I do. And why does that person have more power than I do? Well, because they're a boy in a society that caters toward boys. You can just keep asking yourself why questions until you really get to like the nut of like what it is. And like the reason I think it is helpful is because it's just, you're just talking about like the facts as you know them, and you're kind of like taking emotion out of it. And you're like, you can get to a place where you're like, and I'm not saying to like make excuses for anyone. It's not to excuse them. It's just to get to the nut of like what is what's in the center of the knot in your stomach about something. And then you just know the facts, and you can also do it about someone else, not just about yourself. You can say, why does this boy act like this? Well, I believe that his parents raised him in a certain way with certain tropes that are common in society. And like, why did they choose to do this? Automatically, this is what they know. This is who they are as people. And that's how they chose to raise their son. And so here we are. And so to me, that's like 2 steps it takes to get to the center of like what it is that's bothering you about this person. And then, and once I've done that, even those 2 steps automatically made me feel like a little less hot toward that person. Like they were raised this way. It fucking sucks. The reason they were raised this way is because the way that things are in the world in which he was raised and in which his parents learned how to raise him sucks. Okay. Does it excuse him? No.
Right.
But you're just there in like a very kind of like choose your own adventure flowchart kind of way. Like, these are the facts. This is who this kid is. And then when you get to that like nut in the center of the knot in your stomach, then I always just ask myself 2 things. What can I do about it? And what am I gonna do about it?
Right.
And
I'm writing this down, guys. Don't worry about it. We're just taking a master class right now from Caissie.
What can I do about it? And what am I gonna do about it? Because there's a lot of things you always can do, but what you're gonna do is a totally different thing. But you can narrow it down.
But once you ask, and I would say this to Bernie, but once you ask, what am I going to do? Then you can ask yourself the follow-up question to that, which is that helpful?
Yes. Is it helpful? And so I think that just over time with experimenting, what can I do about this? Or like, you can also ask somebody, what are you going to do about it? Not in a challenging way, not in a daring them to fucking do something. I wish you would, but just like, what are you going to do about it? And while acknowledging that it sucks that you even have to do anything about it at all, but also it's just the world. We've all had to do something about something our whole entire lives. And we've either avoided it or done it and learned. So over time, what I've learned, what can I do about it and what am I going to do about it? Often it's really just saying something, and I have learned certain things that are just like helpful to know about like saying something. And that's that, like, you never owe anyone a debate. So even in a great school where the curriculum is great or whatever, when you have a lived experience that someone else is just philosophizing about or just, theorizing about, even if it's a kid, you don't owe them a debate about what it's like to be you. And you can just say, this is how it is for me. Take it or leave it. But like, I'm not debating you on this. Right. I don't owe you a debate. If you want to hear what it's like for me, I'm happy to share that with you if you are happy to share that. If you feel generous and you feel like that would be helpful and that's something that you want to do. You don't owe it to anyone, but you could share with them if you wanted to enlighten them or whatever. But you don't owe them a debate. And if someone tries to start debating you, no, I'm not debating this with you. It's my actual life. And you're just playing a game at it. And so I don't owe you a debate actually on this. This is my life. And, and it's okay to say like a couple of phrases that I've learned over the years. It's okay to say that's actually toxic, or like that what you're saying is actually kind of abusive. Even to like a person, I find that sometimes that is very shocking to people to hear. Like, I don't think you're an abuser, but I think what you're saying right now is like, it borders on abusive, just FYI. Like, if this is something that somebody who had access to me was doing all the time, I would consider that like abuse, because here's the thing, we all abuse things at some time or another, right? Whether it's sugar, television, drugs, alcohol. And sometimes we abuse other people in like isolated instances or in ways that, aren't the same as like what we think of when we think of like that big word abuse, but people do have abusive behaviors. So it's okay to sometimes, if you really mean it, and I mean, if you really mean it, it's okay to say this is toxic, this is abusive, and it's not something that like I'm not sticking around for that, because you don't have to when it's a kid in your class or whatever, hopefully you never have to, but when it's just some like kid that you go to school with, no, you don't have to take their abuse.
Right.
And so you can just say that. And also like I've also sort of come to the realization, like what you're saying, like just so you know, it's immoral to me. Like it's not illegal. Right. You're allowed to do it, but to me, it goes against the core of my morals and like the moral code that I've developed for myself over my lifetime of living as me. And so I'm just not messing with it. It's not for me. And then also you can tell people that's not true. I know that's not true. Or you can soften it by saying, I don't think you really think that that's true, what you're saying. And, you don't owe anyone an argument on this stuff. And you can get into it if you, it's hard because like fights are often won or lost, but arguments, I don't know how much anyone ever wins an argument. Like you might get the satisfaction that you were right or that you felt right in front of other people who are witnessing it, but how often does an argument actually ever change the mind of someone with whom you're arguing? Probably not a lot. Not a lot. Yeah. So I think at that point, you could, and here's the thing, for kids, it's got to be so fucking hard because as adults, we do it all the time online. We go around and around and around with people trying to get them to see our point, and they just dig in harder and we dig in harder. And like, if you want to do that, if it's fun for you, or if you feel like it's productive, then by all means do it. Everyone's free to do it. But for the most part, for me, it's not that effective. So what I have to remember is that like, I just don't owe anyone an argument about like my existence.
Right. And I think that the part of Birdie understands that fundamentally. Yeah. And also I do think is like hopeful and wants to make a difference and does want to change the way that people around her, i.e. her peers, think about things. You know?
Birdie will make a difference just by being Birdie, but also I think sometimes it's a little bit of a long game, and the way that you make a difference is by people just seeing you be comfortable with who you are and doing well
Right.
And seeing that like, oh, fuck, all of these things that like my parents told me are different and other aren't different and other at all. And like, I mean, think of how many times in your teenage life where you were probably like, if my parents knew that I was like talking to this person or reading this thing or watching this subversive content or whatever, like that was fairly regular for me. And like I had pretty liberal parents, you know, but so many times I was like, my parents wouldn't understand this, you know, so like kids are influencing each other all the time for better or for worse. And Bird will do well just by being like a great influence and like living Bird's best life. But also, I think like there's something to be said for like just playing a long game of being like, I don't need to fight about all of this shit because like I know the truth of it, you know? And if you're not ready for the truth, if you can't handle the truth, as they say in the famous movie, then just, you know, sit
a few
back.
good men.
About men, of course. But you know what I mean? Like there's something to be said just by living your best life, as long as you're safe. You know what I mean? As long as you're relatively, if Bird ever felt in danger or whatever, I would say like that calls for like a totally different tactic. But sometimes just like breaking something down into the ingredients of the recipe is really like, it really just diffuses like the anger that you feel where you're like, this happened because of this and that happened because of that. And then, so here's like the black and white situation that we're dealing with. And then what can I do about this situation? And what am I going to do about the situation? And then, you know, just those few like really, you know, just honest, not inflammatory, not, you know, not even really punishing, like, you know, like, because I think that's where when there's heat, when there's anger, even with kids, but especially also with adults, that's when people get entrenched and they're not hearing. And so if it's not, I mean, it's easy to say, but if it's not a dangerous situation, it's not an emergency situation, you're just talking about like influencing the thinking of someone.
Right.
Like, I think that sometimes the best argument is just like living your best life and being like, it's not up for debate. My existence is not up for debate. And it takes all the fun out of it. A lot of times I notice with guys, like, you know, even stupid things like what's the best, like, who's the best musical artist? I'm like, that's stupid. It's not even an argument. It's arbitrary. It's, you know, it's subjective.
Yeah.
And so like I know it's so fun for you to like rank and debate everything, but I'm not having this debate with you because who is the best musical artist to me is different than who will be the best musical artist to you. And I don't need to debate my feelings or my lived experience about why this is like, I don't need the input from you telling me why I'm wrong on my life.
Right. That's right.
So that
on a thing I think.
Yeah. And it just kind of like, you know how like when they say like a bear is attacking you to play dead, like it's kind of on
I
the
didn't
same.
know that. Did you see that cocaine bear thing? Because I don't think that would work. I don't think that's going to work for
a
the
cocaine bear. Again, that's a different situation.
It's a different
that's
situation.
Like, you know,
that was a real bear that ate a lot of cocaine and then went just nuts, I guess.
That's a unique bear. But you know, for the most part, I guess you're supposed to.
That is a unique bear.
But you know, it's not like playing dead is like a weird, but like, you know, when you're just like, I'm not going to fight with you about this. It takes a lot of the fun out of it because that's the weird thing. I think it's like fucking like instinctual fun for some people to be like, I'm going to debate you on this. And it doesn't matter that they have no expertise in the subject.
That's right. That's right.
Know?
And part of the issue becomes, right, that Birdie's in a school where they're trying to like encourage critical thinking and debate. So like, the issue becomes, and this is like Mark and I like had this meeting with the teachers and the head of the school, which is like, that's fine. But for the kids in which it is personal and not hypothetical, it can be a little bit too much. It can be a little too far. And, you know, we want to protect some things are just not up for debate.
They're not up for debate. Can you imagine if they were having like debates on like, well, you know, like questions of like anti-Semitism or whatever?
Sure.
That's not up for debate.
No.
That's not a fun thing that like people can take opposing sides on, and it wouldn't be in a high school debate club. Nobody would be debating the merits of the Holocaust or whatever. So like some things are just not up for debate, and I think that's a thing that like if nobody else has clarity on it, Birdie does. Right. And so Birdie's allowed to say that this is not up for debate. It's my actual life and not just a fun thing that I'm thinking about to stretch my mind or whatever. Like it's not up for debate. Here's how it is. If you want to hear that from me, great. But if you're not ready to hear the truth of it, then, you know, then we're not arguing over this.
Okay, well, I still don't know what I'm doing for the holidays, but I really appreciate this because I feel a lot better about this.
Well, Bird's great and will be great.
I know, but I worry.
I know.
You know?
I know you do. I know you do.
She's really sensitive and like, well, shocking. But like, you know, my job is to protect Birdie too. You know, it's not just to turn her on to all the fucking injustice of the world. And
because that's, you know,
that happens regardless.
Yes. And also like we owe it to kids to give them like tools to sort of cope with all of the injustice that we're saddling them with, because they're the ones that are going to have to live it like after we're out of here, you know? And so, but Bird will be great. And also, like, they're going to just learn a lot of these coping skills from, like, watching us do our best at getting through, you know, because they just will. And you won't even notice it happening. It'll feel like it's by osmosis, but you'll be impressed. And Bird's getting to the age where kids kind of need to learn, and they will learn to protect themselves, hopefully, in situations because they want to get out in the world and you're not always going to be there. So, you know, I think the next couple years will be really interesting, but I think my prediction is that you will be knocked out at how amazing a lot of kids are, not just Bird, but a lot of kids that they know. And I think you'll be impressed, and you'll also be disappointed by a couple of kids who stay shitheads. That's a promise, pretty much.
Should we talk to our friend Michael Ausiello?
Yes,
about his incredible movie, which also there are some moments, some like sort of really beautiful imagined flashback moments to his own childhood.
Yes. Yeah.
That I loved and deeply related to, and I know you did too.
Yes. Yeah. Love Michael Ausiello. You know him as like a pop culture commentator. You know him from your old TV Guide subscription and more. And
TV Line.
And TV Line. Yes. I'm really excited to talk to him about him.
We're super excited to talk to him about the movie, spoiler alert, that's out in theaters now, that is based on his memoir of almost the same name, spoiler alert, The Hero Dies. And we just adore him, and I love the movie. Loved the movie. Take a listen. Rocket money, burning out the fuse in the rocket money. Is that good? Is that good?
It entertained me.
Rocket money, formerly known as True Bill. I mean, it's kind of amazing. Listen, you know how hard it is to cancel a subscription.
Yes, it's the hardest thing. And so many times
Why?
They make it hard on purpose so that you give up and
they just keep getting your money.
Just keep giving whoever money and it works, because how many times have you given up in the middle of trying to cancel something? I've done it 100 times.
100 times. So here, the true story, Rocket Money, formerly known as True Bill, will help you stop wasting money on subscriptions. Did you know that 80% of people have subscriptions, they forgot about it?
Oh my God.
They forgot about it. They forgot about it. 80% of people have subscriptions they forgot about. Maybe it's like an unused Amazon Prime account or a Hulu account that never gets streamed, or like your ex-boyfriend just uses.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Or a gym that you joined in the 1990s.
Well, that happened to me. Rocket Money found a gym membership that I had been paying for literally like 15 years. And I was like,
yeah, same. In a town I don't even live in anymore.
That's what I was going to say. No, I was like, I think I worked in that town for 3 months in like 2003. Anyway, the app shows all of your subscriptions in one place. It cancels what you don't want for you. Rocket Money will find subscriptions you didn't know you were paying for. I mean, you might even be finding that you've been double charged for subscriptions, which I also found that out partially because I have like different emails and
right.
I have different names. Anyway,
you're making yourself sound like a criminal.
I do, but I'm not, I swear. And you aren't either. But the truth is, you might have multiple subscriptions to the same thing. And the best part is, to cancel a subscription, all you do is press cancel, and Rocket Money takes care of the rest. Cancel unnecessary subscriptions with Rocket Money today. Go to rocketmoney.com/best. Seriously, it could save you hundreds a year. That's rocketmoney.com/best. Sakara, this year, give yourself the gift of health. Is that good?
That was beautiful.
I liked it. This year, guys, I'm all about self-care as a gift for yourself. With Sakara, you'll feel good all season long with healthy and nutritious meals that taste amazing, because your health really is the greatest gift of all.
Yeah, for me, I have had a really wild case of travel tummy whenever I travel. It's because it's so hard to get your hands on a vegetable when you're in
You literally
airports.
Said that to me. You were like, I just need a vegetable.
So Sakara has been saving me lately, and my
resetting
new favorite,
your tummy.
Resetting my tummy. My recent favorite is this thing called the Fire Within bowl. It sounds like such a festive bowl of warm goodness, and it is. That's the right thing. I've been really enjoying the heck out of that.
Well, I like the dairy-free cheesy holiday popcorn trio.
Oh, so good.
Sweet and salty. It's a holiday party favorite. Sells out every year, and honestly, because dairy hurts my sinuses and my tummy, I'm very into the dairy-free cheesy holiday popcorn.
Yes, you're not left out.
Listen, Sakara is a wellness company. It makes thoughtfully curated meals and supplements to be your source for a feel better holiday. It never sacrifices taste or quality. It's nutrient dense meals and snacks. And it really, I swear, makes you feel and look amazing.
Just better. Just better. I just feel better. Yeah.
And right now, Sakara is offering our listeners 20% off their first order when they go to sakara.com/busy and enter code busy at checkout. They have a holiday shop, which has limited edition gifts and digital gift cards. And that's a wonderful gift you can give yourself. It's a wonderful gift you can give someone you love. Yeah. That's Sakara, sakara.com/busy to get 20% off your first order. Sakara.com/busy. First of all, hi guys, we're here. We're talking with Michael Ausiello, who I've known for a very long time through the world of entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Cougar Town.
I would say that's true.
We met through Cougar Town.
Yeah, you were like one of the people who championed.
I was an early adopter.
You were like it.
I was an early adopter.
I remember.
I was the spark that set it all aflame.
It is true. This is 100% true. You're why I won a Critics' Choice Award. It's you had like a bee in your bonnet for some reason that you were just like
I don't know. The
needed
show
people
spoke
to
me.
love that. You needed people to love that fucking show, and you did it. Like hands down, I give you almost all of the credit.
Well,
Every show needs that. Every
Well,
show
then,
needs a champion.
That's been my favorite thing about my job working in TV journalism is championing those little shows that no one has sort of discovered yet. And it becomes less fun for me when everyone discovered, like when everyone jumped on the Cougar Town bandwagon. I was like, oh, it's not as much fun anymore. It's not my show anymore. You know?
Right.
You're like a dude with a cool band. I knew them before anyone knew them.
Totally.
I know, but it is like I just feel like anytime I see, and maybe it's just purely narcissistically motivated. Like anytime I see you really excited about a show that I haven't heard of or whatever, I'm like, oh, I need to check that one out. I do feel like we have similar taste.
Yeah.
I was explaining to Renee yesterday because we were shooting a thing for Carpool Karaoke with the girls Five Eva, and she got nominated for a Critics' Choice Award. And it was like so exciting because our little show that we feel like nobody watches, for it to be recognized. And she was so amazing last season too, like just incredible. And I was talking to her specifically about you, and just how, well, there are a few critics that like really know what's up.
Aww.
It's true.
I agree.
But I say you're a collector because I don't know. I feel like I felt like this when I read your book, but also now that I've watched the movie, and I'm like a little bit not recovered from it, Michael.
Same.
Well, I didn't post it yet because I was like, it's gratuitous, but I just wanted to play it for you. Hold on.
You go whenever you need to, son.
I could not stop crying. And Bertie came into my room and was like, Mom, what is happening? And I was like, I can't do this. I have to talk to him tomorrow. I've known him forever. I knew him when he was going through this. I read the book and I cried when I read the book, but like, what the fuck? How do you watch this movie, Michael? What are you doing to us?
It's surprisingly not as hard for me. First of all, I'm sorry. You are the most beautiful, ugly crier in the world.
I am just like, I am still wrecked. I'm wrecked. I watched it last night and I'm like, I wanted to come to the premiere and I couldn't. Anyway.
I love hearing that. I love hearing that you responded to it. It's a different experience for me because I never felt like, and I was on set every single day watching these scenes.
I know I followed your journey online and spoiler alert, I felt like you must have been able to remove yourself and look at it. Like you talk about that in your book, in the book, spoiler alert.
Yeah, let's pause 1 second.
Well, Caissie, we'll set it up.
Well, I just in case, because people always ask, and it's good to tell people 5 times because they're driving when they listen to the podcast. Michael,
they're doing their dishes.
Michael's an amazing television critic we've all known for years, starting back with TV Guide. And like, I think that we've always all felt like he speaks for us. He loves the same things. Watching the movie, I was like, we could have been siblings, I think, growing up. A lot in common. I've always felt like I have a lot in common with Michael. But he wrote a memoir called Spoiler Alert.
It came out in like 2019?
2017.
2017. Spoiler alert, the hero dies. And now a movie has been made starring Jim Parsons as Michael. It's just called
so surreal.
It's just called Spoiler Alert, but it's in theaters now, and it's like the soul cleanse that all of us need at this time. But it's very emotional. So Busy was just showing him a video of herself like not being able to handle it.
Couldn't handle it.
Anyway, so proceed now.
So the story is about my relationship, my 13-and-a-half-year relationship with my late husband, Kit. Who was diagnosed with a terminal cancer in 2014. And, a lot of the story is about that last year of his life and our time together. But anyway, I wanted to say, Busy, I don't know if you remember, you met Kit. You were at my 40th birthday with Gillian Jacobs.
Yes,
in
I do
LA.
remember.
And Kit flew out for that, and he was there for that. I mean, I don't expect you to remember the exact moment you met him, but I do know you met him. And so you were there. You met Kit.
No, I know, Michael, that's what I was saying. Like, that's what I was trying to explain to my 14-year-old. I was like, this is so surreal. And I certainly sort of felt that when I read your book, but watching someone that I know, and I don't know, and I'm friends with lots of people who make movies. My fucking wedding vows are in the movie. My actual wedding vows are in the movie The Vow. Mark wrote our actual wedding vows into the movie The Vow. So, like, I've had surreal moments watching things, but, like, I just was so, I think it's not going to matter. I think obviously it's not going to matter if people know you or had met Kit or were able to see the two of you together. I mean, for me, I felt like, I got to be honest, I was not in a mood to cry yesterday at all. And I was a little bit like, I read the book. I know, like, I'm going to be okay, you know? But it really, the storytelling is so deeply affecting. Yeah. And also your relationship with Kit's parents really shines through. I mean, Sally Field, who I'm friends with Sally's son.
So mine.
Yeah, Sam. So, like,
Hi, Sam.
It's hard. Hi, Sam. So it's hard for me also, like, watching Sally go through losing her son who's gay and, like, knowing her son who,
so many
like, it just, there were so many, there were so many levels of meta. And then imagining you on set, like, watching it happen, I just was so, I had so many questions. I have so many questions.
Let me just answer that thing, the part about it not being as hard for me as you might think. I never, like, even being on set every day, I never felt like I was watching my life being replayed before my eyes. I knew, I was always conscious we are making a movie.
Right.
I was always aware of that. That's not to say that there weren't hard days and that I don't get emotional watching the movie, but it's more because I'm so invested in this I get sucked in as a moviegoer and these performances. Like, I was on set. I was on set crying, not because, oh my God, I'm reliving this painful moment in my life. I'm watching because I'm like, Jim Parsons and Sally Field are fucking incredible. And they're bringing me to tears.
Yeah.
I mean, wait, and you guys, who plays Kit? What is his name?
Ben Aldridge,
I'm obsessed with him.
He's about to blow up in a big way. He's like, in 3 months, he's not going to even be talking to me.
I mean, he's going to always talk to you. But Ben Aldridge is so good and such a dream, and
so
also,
and so like, Jim doesn't look like me.
No.
Ben looks like Ben and Kit share a lot of the same sort of features, but also the essence. Ben really captured sort of the essence and the spirit of Kit. And something that I've heard from some of his closest friends who leave the theater, and they're like, oh my God, it was like Kit was brought back to life.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God. And the video at the very, very end of the movie where you see Kit, actual, real Kit, because there's the scene that sort of like portrays the exact thing that then you show the home video. Or
don't
video.
leave the
What
theater.
am I doing? What am I doing?
Stay for the
camera phone.
No, it was stay for through the credits. A lot of people have, like, I was at a screening. I snuck into a screening at the Grove on opening night just because that seemed like a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
And it was hard because it's like afterwards, everybody was like leaving during the credits, and I knew that there was this thing coming that they might want to see. And my friend Holly, who was with me, who has seen the movie several times, literally screams out, "Don't leave! There's more coming."
Wait, that's amazing. Wait, by the way, in my head just now as I was talking about it, I didn't sit through the whole credits, but now I remember that I was just sobbing the whole time and I was unable to move. So I just kept letting it play, which is why I got the secret treat at the end. But I wanted to ask about music is such an important thing to me, and I know it is to you and your late husband, Kit. Yeah. So I actually had a question about the music for the movie. If you were able to use a lot of your favorite songs together or some of Kit's favorite songs. There's like a Band of Horses song that plays that he like calls out, but it's kind of faint in the background. So I was like, I wonder if that's really the song or if it's not really the song.
Yeah. So we did have a lot of conversations about music. Some of the songs that were integral in our relationship were sort of bandied about, but no, I wouldn't say any of them were used in the movie. A number of them, but we all fell in love with the song choices, and I think Jim came up with a lot. Like Jim had a list of songs that he really loved, and like that he thought of when he was reading the book. And that made him think of the story, especially Deep in Love, which is the song at the end, but that also plays earlier during the beach scene, which is just so beautiful.
I was trying to look up what that song is. What is that song? It's so good.
It's called Deep in Love. It's such a beautiful song. I always forget who let me find out who the performers are. Okay.
I have to say, we were yesterday with my girls 5 doing carpool karaoke. We had like an extended conversation about the golden era of music, of movie soundtracks, like Romeo and Juliet and Reality Bites. And your movie, spoiler alert, was giving me like a current day, mid-late teen aughts, like you were giving me the soundtrack I wanted, that I needed.
It's
you know what I mean?
Bunny Light Horseman. Bunny Light Horseman is the group, and they do. It's Deep in Love. It's beautiful.
Okay.
It's a beautiful song.
Put it on your list. Yeah, I loved that it. Yes, an early aughts. That the whole movie for me just felt like that. Like it's a story. I sound like Harry Styles.
It's a movie.
It's a story.
It's a real movie.
It's a story that just focuses on just these two people's lives and love and what it means to these two people. And I have a question about your storytelling, which is that the movie doesn't shy away from the difficulties that you and Kit had in your relationship. And I wonder, like, as a writer, was there ever any instinct to gloss over that in like early forms of like telling the story? Like I just
the memoir. Because
the
who
memoir.
wrote the screenplay?
So David Marshall Grant and Dan Savage co-wrote the screenplay. I was involved in the process every step of the way. But it was their idea to take the book sort of and play up my obsession with television and use that as the sort of the lens through which
As a device,
as the device. And that was sort of their big idea that we all sort of fell in love with. But you know, in terms of the decision to be so open and honest in the book, when I set out to write it, I kind of made a promise to myself or a pact that if I was going to do this, I was going to do it one way, and that was truthfully. And that I didn't see any benefit in sugarcoating my relationship, me, Kit. You know, we are flawed human beings. We are imperfect human beings. Our relationship was profoundly and deeply imperfect. It's not the typical fairy tale, but it is still a fairy tale. It's a different kind of fairy tale. It's a real fairy tale, I think, a relatable fairy tale. I think I was protective of Kit more than anything. Like me, I put it all out there. Like I honestly didn't care. And I don't think I was thinking that people would read it. I was just like, I'm just going to do it.
It was like a catharsis. Like you had to, I feel like you and I talked about it back then when the book was coming out. And am I wrong about this? Did you write it fairly quickly?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wrote it very quickly because I was afraid I would forget the little things. Right. That was another thing. I was like, if I'm going to do this, it wasn't my idea to write this book. I was approached based on some social media posts I had been doing during Kit's illness. You know, I've been sort of chronicling some of what we've been going through. And Rakesh Sethyal at Simon & Schuster was an acquaintance of mine who was following along. And several months after Kit died, he reached out to me. He's like, I think there's a book here. And when I agreed to sort of take on this journey and this opportunity, I was like, it's now or never. Because if I wait 2 years after I'm done grieving, I'm going to forget what kind of medicine Kit was taking. I'm going to forget what was the steps in changing his colostomy bag. You know, all of these little things from that year of cancer. I'm going to forget conversations that we had,
Right.
Out on the deck after he found out that he only had a couple of months to live, and thank God I wrote it quickly because all of that stuff was still etched in my brain.
Yeah.
But it made writing the book awful, like not therapeutic, not healing, like
just painful,
masochistic in a way.
Because it was too soon. It probably,
yeah.
Anne Lamott has a thing that she says about writing memoirs, which is that it's best to have processed your story that you're going to write about before writing about it. But I do think that in this case, I fully get the importance of doing it in the immediate aftermath of it. Are kids' parents still alive?
They are still alive.
Have they seen the movie?
They have not. They have not seen the movie. I don't think we're going to.
Yeah, I was wondering.
They haven't read the book, and I've been, obviously very supportive of whatever they just how much they want to involve themselves or engage in this process at all. This is their only child that they lost. Right. They were there for at the end. They lived it. They don't want to live it again.
No, of course. Yeah.
Even if it is a tribute, even if it's a celebration, it's too fucking painful.
I can't. I can't imagine.
God knows I understand.
Yeah. I have on that note, are you still in touch with kids' parents?
Yeah. So I go to Millersburg, Pennsylvania, which is where Kit grew up, which was sort of my adopted hometown, which I talk about in the book, how, I spent 10 Christmases there, It became my home. Kit's parents became in many ways my parents because I lost my parents when I was young. Right. So I go back to Millersburg once a year. I scattered his ashes in the Susquehanna River behind his house. So I spend time in town, and then I go visit his parents. We sit on the porch and we talk and we catch up, and it's lovely and it's painful and it's sad and it's all of those things to see them again, and because it all just comes back flooding back.
Right.
For all of us.
Yeah.
All of us. It's just very emotional. But I use those opportunities when I see them to here's what's happening with the movie. I want you to just hear it from me before you maybe read about it or hear about it at the supermarket. So last summer when I went for my visit, I had known Sally Field was playing Marilyn. So that was I don't expect you to be jumping up and down about any of this, but I want you to hear it from me.
Right.
Well, by the way, I was about to say, I don't know. I would just think hearing that Sally Field is going to play you is a little bit well, yes, that's right. Sally Field is going to be playing me. You know what I mean?
You get the best to play the best.
You get the best to play the best. Exactly. And also, Bill, I am obsessed with
Bill Irwin.
Bill Irwin plays Kit's father. He's stunning.
He's incredible.
Was that whose idea was that, casting wise? That's
Michael
brilliant.
Showalter, our director, who would work.
Yeah, I love Showalter.
Showalter's so good.
He had just worked with Bill on The Dropout on Hulu.
Yeah.
And was and Sally and Bill had worked together. They played husband and wife on Broadway years ago in a play that I'm forgetting that I had never seen. People listening to this are going to be like, how did you not know?
And also for my moms listening to this, you might know Bill Irwin as Mr. Noodle from Elmo.
Yes.
That's how I knew Bill Irwin for many years of my life.
Well, it's interesting because what really got me in the gut was his physicality, the way that, because he doesn't have the most lines in the movie. It's just the way that he moves his body with grief is,
it's really beautiful.
He's so talented, and both Sally Field and Bill Irwin were incredible.
And the nicest man. And he has a gay son, which I wasn't aware of.
That's interesting.
Honey, who doesn't? You know what I mean?
Hello. But still, it's and Sally does too. So you have two of these actors playing the parents of a gay man who's dying, and they both have gay children of their own. I think was a large part of why they connected to this story so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But also, I really, again, Michael, felt this when I read the book, but really the movie is so beautifully explores how love shapeshifts in our lives and what family looks like and what it shows up as and when it disappears and when it comes back. And like, as a person who has a long-term relationship that's like currently not romantic, I really deeply understood so much of like that piece of it. And I was so grateful to see that on film because I feel like you never get to see that, which is that you guys weren't actually together when he got sick. You were on a break. He was maybe dating other people. You weren't, or were you?
So that is one area. So in the actual story, we were on a break, but we didn't break up. And then
right. But you had different apartments. But you you lived together, right?
So we lived together for 12
years. Oh, right.
And then Kit, we got to a point in our relationship where it was just like we came to a crossroads where it was like, are we gonna make it? And Kit decided that he needed his own space, so he got his own apartment in Brooklyn.
Yes,
and basically moved
Brooklyn's
out.
Too far. Brooklyn's too far. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I know. Seriously. And then we sold our apartment in Midtown. He got a place in Brooklyn. I got a place in the West Village. And building in that sort of escape hatch into a long-term relationship where he had a place to go did wonders for our relationship. Even though he spent a lot of time at my West Village apartment, we still we were still together. And I think the movie makes that a little bit more ambiguous. It makes it seem like maybe we broke up, but definitely when the cancer thing happened, we were in a transition period of our relationship. And what the cancer did was all of that bullshit, all those problems that we struggled with. It's like all of it just fell by the wayside, and it just became about, and it's cheesy to say, but fucking love.
Love.
Yeah.
It became about how much we loved each other, and none of it mattered. And just
and he was your family, and you were his.
Yes.
I loved it so much. Michael, you're partnered now. You have a boyfriend, or are you married?
So I'm not married. I was in a 3-year relationship that ended a year ago.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So thanks for bringing that up.
Listen, Michael, I don't know if I mentioned it. I'm getting divorced.
I'm writing that book.
Oh, you are?
I'm not. No, my ex is going to listen to this and be like, holy shit. No.
Hey, by the way, though, can I just say I do feel a little bit like now that, I'm out there, like I do worry that people are going to be like, oh, I can't date her. She's going to just write about it in her book, her next book, or she's going to like talk about it on her podcast, which fair play. I probably will. But I don't know. It seems like it's like a conversation you guys have to have.
Because I think people are aware, not everybody, but guys I've been on dates with, some of them have either read the book or heard about the book and know about this relationship. And, sorry, I also have COVID right now. I just want to mention.
Michael,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, it's fine. Total mild case.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
Total mild case.
I'm going to get that new booster.
Oh, you didn't get it?
Not yet.
I got it like 3 months ago, which I think is why my symptoms are so minor.
Okay.
Like,
I'm glad you're not feeling too bad.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I feel totally fine. Except that just hacking up a lung right now.
Yeah.
And the blood.
We love it. We love your lungs.
No, it's fine. It wasn't blood.
Wait. So
you're dating guys, and some have read the book.
Certainly, I'm just going to say, moving forward, many of them will have seen this movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, not to be crass, but I think it's a great advertisement for you as someone to date,
as a partner.
It
is, and it isn't because
of the Smurfs.
No, Disney, not because of the Smurfs.
Okay. I was just checking.
But I feel the judgment coming out of your
Michael, can I tell you something? I too had a Smurf collection as a kid, and it was also like reward based with my grandmother. So I got the Smurf figurines as a reward.
Okay.
That's amazing.
Michael?
Oh, yes.
I had, are you ready for this? When I was
love
in my
when people
20s,
are like, oh my God, I had 3 Smurf figurines. I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing.
No.
No, I had hundreds.
No, when I was a child and a teenager, I had a McDonald's Happy Meal figurine collection that was hundreds and hundreds of. My favorite were the Chicken McNugget buddies. Anyway, when I was in my 20s and in my apartment, like my apartments, I had boyfriends. I had a like duck collection, rubber ducks. I had 200 rubber ducks. So I'm just saying.
That's weird.
It was weird. It was weird.
That's weird.
I did have a giant one. Like, did you have a giant Papa Smurf? Is that true?
That's mine.
Oh my God.
That whole collection, Busy, was mine. Was shipped from LA. I turned my garage into a fake 80s Smurf store.
Why don't you? You should make it should be a museum. Make it a little museum.
So I mean, I have ideas, but anyway, so I turned my garage out here in LA into a fake store with a cash register and everything. And,
oh my God!
And designed it as a Smurf store, but it had to be dismantled because everything had to be shipped back to New York because it had to be a movie. But that giant Papa Smurf is mine. Now it's a piece of cinema history.
It is. I mean, it's going to be in the Smithsonian. Let's be real.
You're an artist.
But wait, so I wanted to get back to the thing about being an advertisement for me.
Yes.
Single. You know, the book and the movie also gets into a lot of my issues, plural. Yeah. But specifically like my body image issues, you know, and some of the stuff about, you know, how I used to be a chubby kid and the impact that sort of has on my comfort with sex. I mean, it just really gets into all of that. So sometimes when I'm watching it and I'm like, is anyone gonna want to fucking date me?
Well, I'm not a gay man, but also again, speaking to like what we have in common, I also was a chubby kid. I graduated to being a chubby adult, but I know from like a lot of my gay guy friends that is a huge issue for them and a huge insecure spot. And I think for me, it's always very unifying to talk about like, well, you know, let's be honest about this. I don't think I was able to admit that I was like a chubby person until like 4 years ago, as if it was a secret. You know what I mean? But I wasn't able to.
I love you.
I wasn't able to say it because I was so ashamed of it. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it's not my fucking fault. Like, I know what I'm doing every day. So like, I still maintain that I think it's a good advertisement for you as a person, because I think it's very relatable and something that, you know, probably 50% of or more of all people out there are like, yeah, that's me too, you know?
Can I use that pull quote on my Tinder profile?
Of course. Yes.
Great.
Wait, Michael, is there anything that was put in the film that like just is 100% like you're like, no, that like no version of that thing happened?
Marilyn, Kit's mother, was not a triathlete.
Oh,
I really liked that about her.
Yeah. So when Sally was cast, Michael Showalter wanted to give her like a fun quirk.
Yeah.
Give the character a fun quirk, but also wanted to give Marilyn and Michael in the movie something to do together.
Yes, I loved that too.
And then so they bonded over sort of running together. So that I think that's the thing that was the furthest from reality. You know, Marilyn and Bob, you know, are in many ways very similar to the portrayal in the movie, just in terms of how much they fucking love their son and how they showed up when he got sick, you know, and how accepting they were.
And was he really not out when you guys started dating?
That's all true. His appendicitis.
Oh, wow.
That I had to call his mother while he was in the hospital. She had never met me and be like, I know you don't know who I am, but your son is in the hospital.
I'm a very close friend.
Exactly. And
that scene was so funny.
She showed up at the hospital And so what was different about that too is in real life, it was just Marilyn that came up. Bob didn't come up. Marilyn came up alone, but she walks into the room and I had given Kit a Dr. Smurf figurine as a, like sitting on his nightstand.
Oh my God.
And I remember that, like, that was like for her, something's, when she found out I had given that to her, something's off about
Something
this.
deeply romantic is happening. My son has a Smurf I've never seen.
This bumps me. I'm not sure why, but it's bumping me.
Oh my God. But also, like, I would imagine, you know, as the parent of a gay child, I do know from the books I've read, you're not supposed to ever be like, I always knew.
Yeah.
But I would imagine that she had been waiting for a long time for some sort of, for something, either way, from her son. The way that that I remember you writing about them in the book and the way that they're portrayed in the movie, like, you don't love a kid that deeply and that much and not have a sense that they're not letting you in on a chunk of their life, you know?
Yeah. I mean, the reality is I wasn't present for the coming out experience. Like in the movie, we're all together.
It's kind of amazing. It's a great.
So I went home. So when we dropped Kid off at his home, the three of us, and it was super awkward. But I ended up leaving, and he had a one-on-one conversation with her, of a private conversation. What I will say is the fact that, you know, that very next Christmas, I was home with his family, spending the holidays with them. That says everything you need to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's incredible. And also, I, too, have laid under Christmas trees my entire life.
Same.
And looked up.
No one has done this.
Wait, are you kidding? Since I was literally, Michael, if you ever talk to my mom, you can talk to her about it.
I believe you.
I still do it. I still go home and I lay down and I look up at my parents' Christmas tree.
Why doesn't
the best thing.
More people do this?
I don't know, guys. And you don't even have to be stoned or on mushrooms or anything. You can just be sober.
Though.
It's the best. I mean, honestly, for real. I was actually
I like
really
to get
bummed.
up early in the morning and lay under there when when the house is still quiet.
Because are you just
dark.
because Christmas content? Are you multicolored or all white lights?
I am multicolored and I'm fucking blinking.
Yes.
Whoa!
Wow.
I am.
Wait, that's a
That's
revelation.
That's what makes going under the tree, because shit is happening.
Yeah.
Movement. It's a
Okay.
show.
I'm tiny, multicolored, but I have lots of. I don't blink, but I have lots of. I have lots of glittery ornaments, and I go deep. I go deep with the ornaments. I go put them all the way in.
Yeah.
It takes forever to disassemble a tree for me, but like I need, because I want to get under, look up, and see it's almost like kind of the same thing as blinking, because the ornaments will be spinning and stuff.
It's not.
But I was so bummed because we got a tree delivered this year from Plant Shed here in New York.
Yeah.
And I just was like, I don't have time to do my normal lighting ceremony that I do. Also, whatever, this is a sidebar. We don't need to put this in the podcast, but sidebar, Mark was like, since we're getting divorced, do I have to do all this Christmas shit with you now? Like, can you just do it? Can you just decorate the tree and whatever? And I was like, so rude, but yeah, okay. So I got the tree pre-lit, but like, I don't know.
It wasn't
Mark
the
ordered
same.
it. It's white lights, guys. It's white lights.
No.
You don't know. I know.
Pre-lit and white lights.
I'm embarrassed.
This is
I
bad.
am embarrassed. I know. But listen, here's what we learn from our mistakes, and don't think that I am not buying a second tree.
I mean,
because I'm buying a second tree.
Has to be done.
It has
Otherwise,
to.
Christmas is ruined.
I mean, and I'm going to do multicolored lights on the outside of the house. I'm doing it today, actually, because my garland finally came.
Oh, good. That's exciting. Yeah,
Nice.
we're multicolored inside, outside. While I was
Multicolored,
gone,
always
while I was
multicolored.
gone, the kids hung Christmas lights outside my bedroom window. So thank God. I need it.
Are you West Coast right now for press and stuff?
I'm both 50. So I've been 50-50. After I finished the book, I've been thinking about moving to LA, but I didn't want to leave New York. So I managed to, I got a little place out here and was able to sort of go back and forth. And that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's because you don't have children.
Yeah.
Michael and I are neighbors, Caissie.
Yeah.
Oh, you are? I'm so jealous.
I
Aw.
run into, I see busy. I see Mark a lot.
I know.
You see Mark. I saw him on the West Side Highway. I saw him at the new Gourmet Garage.
The opening of Gourmet Garage where everyone got COVID.
Oh
no.
really? Is that true?
Well, that was, like in the spring.
I didn't know
There
that.
was,
I didn't know that was like ground zero for COVID.
It was according to the Nextdoor app. Yeah.
Nextdoor is such a bitch.
And I say
Oh my God,
that Gourmet Garage, just FYI, has the best sushi.
Oh,
Wait, I was going to ask you because I've been doing the soup from there every day.
The soup's okay. There's so much sodium in soup. I don't like getting super perfect soup. Even no matter where it is, there's so much sodium.
know.
I mean, there's a ton of fucking sodium in sushi and obviously soy sauce. But
everything that tastes good.
But they have a brown, like chai rice, whatever, around the sushi. Like it's not just brown rice sushi. It's like extra, like healthy, delicious. Anyway, highly recommend.
I can't eat sushi anymore because my body has decided it's like that soy sauce is one of the things that triggers my IBS. Guys,
Oh
too much
no,
information? Maybe.
That's
I don't know.
terrible.
But so anyway, I can't eat it, but I'll let Mark know. I know. Well, Mark, I feel like you guys, for whatever reason, you guys are on the same walking paths. Like you're,
we're on the same schedule, and it's it's weird because sometimes
because Mark lives like a single gay man. Sorry.
So, but it's like it's weird. It's like, so do we have to say hi to each other every time we walk past each other?
Oh my God. It's kind of cute. It's kind of cute.
Michael, I have a question for you. What has it been like as someone who has your entire career has been commenting on popular culture and entertainment? What is it like to be on the other side of it that's making something that, I mean, to call it entertainment is that
No,
it's like,
That's
it's
fair.
not the right word.
No, but
Pain-tertainment. What is that like?
But it is a piece of entertainment.
Yes.
And I will say, that was a lens through which I was like operating when I was on set. Like it wasn't, some of it was about authenticity and there were a couple things where it's like, these are like deal breakers that need to be in the movie. These are important things and not necessarily scenes, but just themes. Like Kit was not a victim, that was like, and not that there was ever anybody ever wanted to portray him as such, but that was, like, I had those things in my head. It was like, these are non-negotiables. But,
Right.
when I was on set, I was looking at it, I think all my years of watching television, watching pop culture, watching movies, and having really strong ideas of what worked and what didn't came in very handy when I was sitting in Video Village behind those monitors watching, and being like, this rings false a little bit, or, what if we try it this way? Or I have an idea. I was surprised at how comfortable I was, and probably some of the other producers were surprised at how comfortable I was being in that seat and having opinions and ideas and instincts about what worked and what didn't as a piece of entertainment.
I have to say, I mean, first of all, that doesn't surprise me at all. But again, it's like a taste level thing, Michael. Like, I think you have I've just read your writing, your reviews, your tweets, like all, for years. And I do feel like who better to speak to like how a thing is going to be the most impactful and effective than you, truly. And especially in telling your own story. And I'm glad that the set was not just, I'm glad that it was like accommodating, but also like that it seems like Michael Showalter and the writers and Jim and his producing partners, like everybody knew how important and how valuable you were.
It's not a typical thing for the writer of the source material to be on set every day.
No,
and I never took that for granted. But it's also something like I was out of the gate. I was like, I'm going to be hands-on. Like when Jim's company optioned the book, I was very transparent with him up front. This isn't a situation where I'm looking to cash out and then let you guys do what you want with this story. I'm going to be involved every step of the way. That didn't necessarily mean that I was going to be on set every day. And I knew that was a separate conversation that we need to have before we started shooting. I need to have that conversation with Michael Showalter and with Jim Parsons. Because I also didn't want to make Jim feel uncomfortable, do anything that would impede his performance.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, as an actor, now I'm putting
tricky.
on my actor hat. I would think it could be the most helpful thing to have the person that you're playing on set with you, and also could make you very self-conscious about your performance. And, I think that by the time you guys probably started shooting, since Jim was also a producer and had like shepherded the project with you, probably he was like feeling solid about his choices,
He was,
right?
He has spoken about how, he kept his distance from me on set, specifically for the reason you mentioned, because it was a lot for him to be like doing these scenes and then looking over and seeing the person he's portraying, whose story it is. So he had to sort of keep his distance from me a bit. And I, with Jim, I was there for him as a resource. Most of my interaction was with the director, Michael Showalter. As far as the actors were concerned, I never was like, this is how it was done. You need to be doing it this way.
Yeah, well, that would be weird, and you're not that person.
And I knew that they would be creating their own version of these characters. This isn't a documentary. Like I was not precious about that stuff. Most of my interaction was with Michael Showalter. And then if the actors needed me for anything, I was there. Ben Aldridge, who plays my late husband, Kit, did come to me often with questions. A lot of it was like, what was Kit's particular pain level when we were at this point in the story? Because he had a rectal tumor, which affected his ability to sit. So, and Ben wanted to be as authentic about those things as possible. Kit was also a photographer. How did Kit hold his camera? I sent him videos of Kit taking pictures and all of that stuff. So Ben was a little bit more engaged with me on set, but Ben wasn't playing me,
Right.
Jim was.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, I have to say, again, guys, I highly recommend going to see, spoiler alert, and bringing your tissues with you and being ready to ugly cry in front of other people.
It's funny, too.
So many laughs. There's so many really funny moments.
This is what I was saying to you. But even when I was crying, I played you 3 different, I cried, and then I was like laughing, and then I cried again, and then there was like, then I kind of didn't stop crying till the end of the movie, if I'm just being honest. But there were like the moments where I was like, no, that's, laughing, crying. But the beginning of the film too, like chronicling the beginning of your relationship and just who you guys were, like setting the love story and all of that, and like you at work and like all of those things. Oh, honey, it is an entertaining journey. We're on a love story. We're watching a love story. Also reminded me of Beaches a little bit, like I gotta say, in the best way possible, which is another movie that like I love to cry to.
Well, there's a Beaches Easter egg in there.
I missed it. Because I was laughing. The de-gaying the apartment is really funny for the parents when Kit's still in the closet.
Well, Michael, we always talk about on the podcast, we talk about with our guests, big pivots that they've had in their lives. Obviously, this has been all pivot. But I do have a question, because like your regular job, your day job is commenting on entertainment. And we talked about what it was like to be on the other side of that. I have a question about like going forward. A, do you think this will change the way, like this experience will change the way that you do your former job? And B, do you think that this is like a new path for you? Like you're such a good storyteller beyond talking about other people's stories. Those are my questions for you.
So two-part answer. The first part is it has already changed how I am in my job. When I wrote the book, it's a very vulnerable thing to create a piece of art, and it feels weird calling it art. It feels like sort of a little pompous, but it's a piece of art, good or bad.
It is. We're saying it's art, not you. We'll take it off you.
Putting it out into the world is a very vulnerable thing. I can't do critical reviews of TV shows, especially bad ones. Like I know what it's like to put your heart and soul into something, and sometimes it doesn't come out good, and sometimes it does come out good. And I just, it's a little bit more complicated for me to criticize other people's art after having created something myself. So we have a critic on staff who handles that. I mean, it's not to say I don't have opinions and I champion shows and stuff like that, but I'm not going to be, trashing a TV show. Not that I was trashing TV shows, but I had strong opinions, and there's stuff I did back in the day. I'm not going to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Unless something's offensive or something. And the other part about the pivot, I mean, I would love to I fucking love to do this again. I would love to tell a happier, a story with a happier ending.
Yeah.
I'm exploring some ideas about my childhood. I'm developing a project about my childhood with Bad Robot, J.J. Abrams' company, that has gone through a number of incarnations over the past couple of years, and we're trying to find out what the best way to tell that story is. HBO Max actually bought it. They right before the pandemic, I wrote a pilot script, and then the pandemic hit, and we found out they were passing on it. So now we're sort of redeveloping it.
Right.
Seeing if there's a new place for that. But I think there's stuff about my childhood, about a kid growing up in the 80s in small town New Jersey, obsessed with soap operas. I think there might be a fun story there.
I'm really excited about that because I think J.J. Abrams is known for other things, but I love the way that he talks about childhood. It's not something that you get to see all the time.
Well, and also Felicity is one of my favorite shows of all time. People sometimes forget that was his sort of big breakout, thing.
I don't forget. I wasn't able to cut my hair on Dawson's Creek because of that fucking show.
You did see that Felicity was in the movie.
Yes,
yeah, of course I did. I was excited about it.
Pivotal moment.
So many great call outs that just had me. And they're not exactly like jokes, but some were jokes, but like just talking about the Gilmore Girls and Felicity and the watching soap operas and these really creative flashback scenes that were staged as like imaginary sitcom scenes that you had about your life growing up. And just, I just want to say losing Kit certainly wasn't your first loss. You have suffered a number of really unfathomable losses. And the way that you told the story was really creative and so smart, and just had it been done any other way, it might have been too much for me. It might have been too much for me I would have had to take breaks watching it. But the way that you told it was so wonderful and so creatively put together that it was great, Michael.
I have to give credit to Michael Showalter, our amazing director, who, as you've seen with his past work, has an uncanny ability to blend those those distinct tones, the comedy and the drama. I mean, that's why he was our first choice for this movie. And it was just, we were lucky enough that he was interested and loved the book too. But it's also, David Marshall Grant and Dan Savage. It was, their idea to sort of play up the TV piece of it and use it sort of as a little fantasy device. Because television was and remains a coping mechanism for me, especially processing grief and childhood trauma. So.
Yeah, I think a lot of people can identify with that, certainly. A lot of people I know, for sure, just, television was our most stable friend and loved one for a lot of us growing up, especially people our age, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say our generation is unique in that we all watched the same. We have the same. We're the last generation that has the exact same points of reference, pop culturally, because we didn't have so many fucking choices.
We were home alone, and the television was
we were
the only
home
thing
alone.
we were allowed
home
to touch.
and the microwave. And the microwave.
12 shows, so it's easy to have sort of common bonds. Now it's good luck trying to find someone else who watches The Patient on Hulu that you can talk about.
What the fuck is The Patient?
See what I mean? We can't talk about The Patient.
Okay, I have to tell you, Michael, I thought were you at the Gotham Awards by any chance?
No, I wasn't nominated.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if people go to these things. I don't fucking know. I was at the Gotham Awards with my friend Michelle.
Yeah.
It was really her thing was so sweet. But when it came time for the TV show awards, I think I talked about this on the podcast last week.
Yeah, you did.
I literally was like, I know 2 of these out of 8 shows that they mentioned. And I'm like, I work in television. Like, I knew Severance, and what was the other one I knew? There was one other one I knew.
I don't even know.
And that was it. And then there was just like a bunch of fucking like TV shows. I was like, this is a bit. Like, this is like we're in a Judd Apatow movie. Like, this is not real.
Busy, I cover television for a living. I can't tell you how many times a week I will get a press release or I will see another outlet report a story about a show being canceled. And I'm like, wait, what? That's not a show. Is that a show? Like, it almost seems like some of it's like a 30 Rock character.
We got in trouble for not knowing about the Mayim Bialik Call Me Cat show. Because I was like, that sounds made up. I never heard of that. I thought Busy was like tricking me. And so here's what I did learn. I learned that show is real. And I learned that Mayim Bialik has the most loyal fans. And they will get very mad if it seems like you're making a little bit of a joke at the expense of Call Me Cat.
Yeah.
Jim
Parsons is a producer on that show. So
See? Okay. See, it just wasn't on my radar. And especially now when I'm like, is this a channel? Is it a platform? I don't think I have it. Where do I get it? I don't know.
Everyone should check out Call Me Cat on Fox.
There you go. See? Thank you, Michael, for pulling our bacon out of the fire again.
Well, the movie's in theaters. It's like a great, take yourself on a rainy Tuesday afternoon or Saturday. Go with your friends.
Any day. Yeah. Go with a friend that you don't mind crying in front of.
I have so many. I mean, I don't mind crying in front of
that's all. Yeah. That's all your friends know that's part of the deal. Yeah. But Michael, it's such a huge accomplishment. And it's just really, I think, so generous of you to tell this very personal story. I mean, we know you. We've known you for years through your work, but like now I feel like we really know you, and that's really courageous and generous.
Yeah. It's also difficult just as a person. I mean, I can imagine as a person who's shared so much of my life, it gets really intense because I'm sure you get people coming up to you who want to like share their.
They know me. They know me.
Yes. Yeah. And also like, and then they have a connection and they want to share with you what their connection is to the story, and it's a lot emotionally to take on. Yeah. So I hope you're finding some peace and maybe like a vacation.
Yeah, I'm looking into a vacation. Like I was like at the end of this process, I was like, I'm going to go on a little bit of a vacation. The thing is, do I want to go with friends? That's one of the things I struggle with too as a single person. I know we're at the end here, but is like traveling. That's the one thing I struggle with. Like, do I travel alone? Do I travel with friends? Because I loved traveling with Kit. I love traveling with my ex, my recent ex. Like that's my favorite coupley thing to do. Yeah. But when not in a relationship, do I just sit home and not travel?
I'm literally should we travel together? I'm literally, I swear to God, I'm having the same thing. And I don't love traveling with a group of friends. That is too stressful for me. Like, because then you're like a cruise director. I want like one person.
I travel alone a lot, which is weird for a married lady with a family, but it's just the way that it works out these days. And I have to say that for a couple days, I think it's really fun and I feel independent and I feel like I'm in a movie, and then it starts to get sad and hard.
Well, I was going to say like my trip to Sweden with Birdie, when Birdie tried out the boarding school there, I had those like almost 3 full days by myself.
Yeah.
And I did I put on a soundtrack and I like sort of walked around and I felt like I was in a movie. And then I just was like, this is sad.
Yeah.
And I can talk to anyone.
I'm afraid of it when it gets sad. It's like, I'm avoiding that.
Maybe we're hitting on like a technique. Like you go somewhere 3 days by yourself, then have your friends join you. And then you know the lay of the land. You can show them around like you're a local and an expert. And then just
have that cushion that you know someone's coming.
I like this,
light at the
guys.
end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right.
I like it.
So we'll plan a trip and we'll all join up.
Michael would be great. Michael would be great for our camp idea too.
Oh, we want to have a camp with our podcast listeners. Will you come and be a camp counselor?
Like literal camp?
Like,
I mean, you don't have to stay there.
Like
No, cabins.
no, honey. Have we met? No. No.
Okay, if we're using the word camp loosely, 100% on my board.
Yes.
Air quotes.
We need to say it's a quote. It's a quote because it's like we want it to be kitschy, but let's consider it more like a retreat, but like a nice retreat.
Totally, 100% there. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
You could do a memoir and storytelling workshop with me.
Oh. I'm gonna have to charge for that.
No, we will charge. We'll pay you. We're going to charge people.
All the Kool-Aid you
Michael,
can drink.
We're literally just trying to come up with like Caissie and I are just constantly trying to come up with like get rich quick schemes that are only like make a tiny amount of money and a lot of work.
Yeah.
Like we have no get rich quick schemes. We're just like, I don't know what our deal is.
Yeah, get rich
Someone
quick
pitched to me yesterday a dating app for people with COVID. Like a gay hookup app for people with COVID.
That's actually really funny.
That's a good one.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not exploring, but I'm like, these crazy ideas that come up. I'm like, there may be, you know what? You guys take it and run with it.
We're going to.
We just have to learn how to make an app. And then I'm still working on an app I tried to make like 7 years ago, Michael. It's just very simple. Do I look good in this color? And it just puts your face in a circle of color.
Yeah.
And I'm still working on that. So as soon as I bang that one out, the COVID date.
You'll get to it eventually.
Yeah.
All right, Michael, have a wonderful day and a wonderful rest of your week. And thank you for
a wonderful Christmas
and a wonderful holidays and laying under your tree.
Thank you so much for doing this and your support of the movie and the book and all of that. This was super fun.
Okay, listen, guys. Listen up. Guys, typical children's vitamins are basically candy in disguise. Everyone knows the story. I've told it before. Birdie, thankfully, is now recovered because they're 14 years old. But when Birdie was 3 years old, I thought I was doing such a good thing giving the little bird gummy vitamins every day on her way to preschool. And then that pediatric dentist said to me, "Ma'am, your child has 14 cavities." And I said, "What? What are you talking about?" No. And then I cried a lot, felt like a bad parent. And I didn't need to be so hard on myself, but it's exactly why Haya was created.
Right.
It's a pediatrician approved, superpowered, chewable vitamin. While most kids' vitamins are filled with 5 grams of sugar and, can contribute to a variety of health issues in addition to 14 cavities, Haya is made with 0 gummy junk, yet it tastes great, is perfect for picky eaters, and fills in the most common gaps in modern children's diets to provide the full body nourishment our kids need with a very yummy taste they love. I, on occasion, have had a Haya vitamin myself.
Sneak a little Haya vitamin yourself?
I have. It's non-GMO, it's vegan, dairy-free, allergy-free, gelatin-free, nut-free, and free of anything bad else that you can think of.
That you're worried about.
It's formulated with the help of nutritional experts and pressed with a blend of 12 organic fruits and veggies and supercharged with 15 essential vitamins and minerals, including vitamins D, B12, C, zinc, folate, and many others.
All the hits, all the things you're looking for.
Immunity, energy, brain function, mood, concentration, teeth, bones, all of it. Guys, we love it. Also, my kids, I love that it's, comes with the bottle that's refillable. And so the refills come in small packaging.
And the kids can decorate the bottle so they feel
stickers.
like a little ownership over it. And
and my kids each have their own bottle. So like I can keep track of who's taking their vitamins.
Right.
Well, we've worked out a special deal with Haya for their best-selling children's vitamin. You can receive 50% off your first order. This is amazing. To claim the deal, go to hayahealth.com/busy. This deal is not available on the regular website. Go to hayahealth.com/busy and get your kids the full body nourishment they need to grow into healthy adults. Hiya! Olive and June. There, she's back. It is my number one. I really do love giving this as a gift for Christmas. I'm sorry. I just think that the Olive and June's Manny system is the perfect gift for your besties, your sisters, your moms, your guy friends who like to paint their nails. We're not gender specific about painting our nails anymore, guys. We don't need to be. And what we love about Olive and June and their Manny system is that it's everything you need to create salon perfect nails at home. And the polish is incredible. Gorgeous colors. Their polishes last forever.
Days.
Do not chip.
7+ I think is such a conservative estimate for me.
Agreed.
I take Olive and June off usually when it starts to grow out and it's noticeable. It lasts 14 days plus on me easily. Can I tell you a little secret, Busy?
Of course.
I'm going to like a Christmas gift exchange, the kind where you can like take the gift that you like if someone opens a gift that you like better.
Yes.
And it's with some friends that you know, and
I'm invited.
Oh, yay. I'm gonna go get one of the Olive and June gift sets today because I think it will cause drama at the gift exchange because everyone will want it.
And you know what you love? Drama at a gift exchange.
I mean, so I hate when people don't want to trade their gifts, and I know everyone's gonna. I know this is gonna prolong the fun because everyone's gonna keep trying to get that nail polish kit.
Well, yes, and listen, the Olive and June Manny system is the ultimate secret behind getting salon perfect nails at home, all in one, no guessing, no messy nails. They even do these little like tutorials on their Instagram or on YouTube.
Yes.
And it comes with Poppy, which is the little patented brush handle that makes it so easy to paint your nails beautifully with both hands, both the hand that you write with.
Yes.
So you're good at doing things with that hand. And then your non-dominant hand. It makes it so easy and your nails look perfect. Guys, it's also affordable. That's the other thing.
Right.
Like you get this Manny system. It comes with 6 amazing polishes. It breaks down to like $2 a manicure. Probably less, depending on how long, you know what I mean? Like it's just, that's like a conservative thing, I think.
Yeah.
That's just like, but we love it. I love the colors. And getting beautiful salon perfect nails at home is now a dream come true for you and your friends with Olive and June. Your new nail life is here. It's the perfect gift. Visit oliveandjune.com/busy for 20% off your first Manny system. That's oliveandjune.com/busy for 20% off your first Manny system. We love you, Olive and June. Atsuko, are you exhausted? I
am.
You're tired. You're doing so much press.
Yeah, but I'm so excited. It's because the turnaround was so fast. Literally, I shot the special 2 months ago. And
I was actually very surprised because when Atsuko was on our guest on our podcast, when we did it live in Toronto, which feels like it was yesterday, you hadn't even filmed the special yet. You were about to film it.
Yes. Yeah. And then I filmed
and now it's
it
done
right after.
And it's coming out.
Yeah. And every day. So it's just been like that's thinking about every day. It's like editing, color correction, sound mix. How's the trailer look? Can I tweak this part? And so, yeah. And so I haven't had a moment. And then they're like, in 3 weeks, you're going to go out with a new hour on tour. Okay. And I'm like,
Just an hour. You just have to write a whole new hour of material. No problem.
I'm like, yeah.
Is that's part of the deal? That's how we're going to do it. That's how we do it. Just keep hustling.
Keep going till the day you retire and pick up pickleball,
I guess so. You don't play pickleball?
I haven't picked it up yet. Everyone else around me has.
People love it.
It's like all the rage.
It's not for me, guys.
Isn't it just like, is it just like ping pong, but like life size? Like you stand on the table?
Yeah, that's what I feel like. But I don't know.
You stand on the table.
Is that correct?
Yeah, so it's like easier tennis, easier. It's easier tennis and easier ping pong.
Okay.
All
right.
Right?
I don't know.
I
feel like I'm not. I'll find out. I'll probably get into it when everyone else is getting out of it.
I mean, that's, to be fair,
that's what
you're
I
a
do.
contrarian like that.
Yeah. Atsuko, you just took off. You've been wearing these earrings that I'm obsessed with. I mean, listen, you know me and you know I'm going to ask. She has these like Fruit Loop earrings that they're, I love them so much.
Atsuko's a real Claudia Caissie. Let's be real. Do you know who Claudia Caissie is?
Yes, from the Babysitters Club.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
my
when I was a little kid, I was like obsessed with Babysitters Club books, and Claudia Caissie was my style idol, icon.
Yes,
she always was wearing.
A fashion
she always
designer,
wore.
yeah.
She was a fashion. No, she was an artist.
Yes.
Caissie.
yes, I know. I guess I know.
And she always had like the coolest like earrings that were like giant, like Fruit. She would have Fruit Loop earrings,
yes,
and like colorful pants. And I loved the writing of those books so much because they described her outfits in great detail. But Atsuko, I do have to say, sometimes the outfits give me Claudia Caissie vibes.
I didn't even think about that. And there was a short film that they made where it was like Babysitters Club. What happens if, today before the TV series?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, the TV series is amazing. Just FYI.
I haven't watched it. I'll get on it when it's out of fashion, I guess, like Caissie. When everyone's really over it, that's when I'll start too.
I mean, it's kind of like for kids. I have to be honest. I wouldn't have watched it if I wasn't watching it with my preteen.
I watched it, and my kids are adults. I watched it in my hot tub.
You did love it.
Oh yes, no, but thank you for saying that. Yeah, because she was a icon, a fashion icon.
She's a fashion icon.
Art. What is it? Artist. You said she was an artist, so she's like a artista.
Yeah, she's like a visual goddess. But here's what I want to ask you about your personal Fruit Loops earrings. They're not real Fruit Loops, are they?
These are real. These are giant Fruit Loops because I guess they make them big now. I haven't had Fruit Loops in a long time, but
oh my gosh.
Yeah, the artist.
We know what happened to me with Fruit Loops. I got a bacterial infection from eating too many Fruit Loops.
Oh my gosh. Wait, like a candida thing?
Well, we don't know. Basically, Atsuko, in the spring of last year, I got stoned and I ate my kids' entire box of Fruit Loops. And then I was felled by I thought I was literally I had to get an MRI. I thought the worst pain in my life. I'm a person who has frequent stomach pain.
The ambulance is coming to get you right now.
I know, you can hear it. You can hear it. That's just New York City, baby. And then I went to the doctor, got the MRI, whatever, and I had a bacterial infection, and I had to be on antibiotics, and I got better. But then the next week, a few days later, after I got better, I went to the grocery store and I was like, oh shoot, I have to buy new Fruit Loops to replace my kids' Fruit Loops. And I was standing in line and this woman behind me was like, don't buy those. They've been recalled. Oh wait, it wasn't Fruit Loops. It was Lucky Charms. Never mind.
No, but similar, I'm sure.
Same vibes. Same vibes, guys.
Same.
That's what I think of.
Same color dyes, probably. Probably same.
Safer
factory.
to wear than to eat, maybe.
Well,
who knows?
But does she shellac them? How does she make sure that they don't rot on your ears? I mean, although
Yes, no, she dips it in resin, and I always tell her, because she's an artist out of Brooklyn, and she just makes food jewelry. So she doesn't. I'm concerned about her practices because every time I see her, she's loopy, and she's just like, "Oh yeah, I made new earrings. Please wear them." And then I'm just like, "Girl, you need to like wear a mask when you're working around resin, right? Like, are the windows open in your studio when you?" And she's just like, "Oh, sometimes I forget, But every time I see her, I'm just like, "You are poisoning yourself making these gorgeous earrings for me and other people to wear."
And other people.
Wait,
Atsuko,
let's shout her out. What's her
shout
name?
out.
What's her name?
Glitter limes.
Glitter limes. Okay.
Yeah.
Glitter limes. I love your earrings, but please be careful with that resin. Atsuko, I feel the same way about cue card writers. I don't know how much in your career you've worked with, like teleprompter is like the more, common now. But like when I first started in TV, it was cue cards and the pens, like Hollywood Break, in case you don't know, the pens are like so big and they need so much ink that they actually like unscrew at the bottom, and the person has like a can, like an old school can of ink that they pour into the and every cue card writer that I've ever known has been out of their fucking mind. And I'm like, were you normal like before you started huffing cue card ink every day? But like out of their mind. Like some people in a fun way, but then some people like eventually not so like I have stories that are not appropriate to tell about people on a podcast, but we have to get tequila and I'll tell you what happened to like a lot of cue card writers that I know.
Oh my gosh.
Some
yes,
crazy
start a union.
Yeah.
Like you need, oh my gosh. Yeah, these things, it's what took Bob Ross out was the paint thinner.
Is that true?
Oh,
Yes,
really?
because every time he would go on TV, and then he would always use paint thinner and he wouldn't be protected from it. And then, when he got sick, they were sort of like pointing to the fact that it was like, breathing that in all the time.
Paint thinner. Well, I know like old time, like historical painters would often like put their brushes in their mouths to like make
right.
And then they all,
I've seen that.
Yeah. And then also like being called mad as a hatter is because like the milliners used to use like what, mercury? I don't know something that made you mad. Anyway, there's a lot of really toxic careers and they, including serial jewelry.
Yeah, human beings. Oh, we are pretty resilient though, don't you think? Considering like Lucky Charms can take us down.
Yeah.
As people, human beings are very, very strong.
Could you imagine if that was like your obituary, Busy, that like Busy Phillips died from a breakfast cereal that's part of a nutritious breakfast, but also killed her?
I can imagine it. I'm going to be real with you guys. Like that tracks for me.
What else is going on with you? So now you're going to write a whole new hour of material and go out on when's your tour starting?
I'm starting like January. Well, the first date is January 9th.
Wow.
So
oh my God, immediately after Christmas.
I'm like, look, a bitch got stories, but like, give me a little time to, I have to make it funny. It's not, I'm not just going to be out there being like, and then this happened. So yeah, what do you think about that? It's like, I'm not going to do that. It has to, have like friggin' punchlines and stuff and well thought out and structured. So I don't know. I've been thinking about my dad and I was like, I've never talked about my dad. Maybe it's time,
Maybe it's time.
Oh, I think maybe it's time.
We all need to talk about our dad at some point.
We all have to. This is true. So do you guys have plans for the special comes out this week? You're doing a ton of press. You're going to be working on material, but like, are you doing anything fun for the holidays?
Fun for the holidays? Gosh, we haven't super had time to think about it, but I think we'll keep it like small, just me, husband, grandma, and mom to like Palm Springs. That's close enough to LA.
That's very chill.
That's so fun.
Delightful. Actually.
Nothing can get in the way, right? 2.5 hours.
Yeah, no,
right?
It's easy. It's easy from LA.
That sounds really good. Is there anything that you're hoping to get for a gift? Or do you feel like you got everything that you wanted this year?
Oh, that was so poetic. I'm gonna go with the second answer. I have everything that I need. And yeah, so just some time with the family would be really, really cool. And yeah. Are you
my
all
God.
going somewhere? Are you traveling?
I've been talking about it. I haven't made any plans. I'm like overwhelmed by the prospect of making plans. I'm annoyed at myself that I'm annoyed at the prospect. Like I'm just like, it's all a mess in my brain right now.
Yeah.
That's basically where I'm at.
I'm just going to stay home. I'm really lucky that I have both my sons here in LA with me. So just going to stay home and have some food and some presents and, with the whole fam. Atsuko,
That's nice. Keeping it. Yes.
I'm laughing because when you did our show in Toronto, it was like you went out of
Excuse me. Can you say Toronto again?
Toronto. That's how they told us to say it.
I
Told
know.
us Toronto.
You went out of your way to make time in your busy schedule at the Just for Laughs festival to come and do that with us. And we were so grateful. And so we paid close attention to what you drank at the bar later. And we were like, we're going to send her a bottle of, what she likes. But I have to laugh because I was like, I'll take care of it. But I was still traveling and Busy was still traveling. So I just called my husband and said, can you help me send a bottle of tequila to our friend Atsuko, and coordinate? But the list of what I had to, and I know your husband is a real helper too. So I know he's always with you helping you. But I was like, it has to get on there on this day because she's still traveling. And so this will be when she first gets home. And just all, it has to be this and blah, blah, blah. I had all these instructions for him. And so I was like, so just can you handle that and get some service to do that? But then when I was like, did you do it later? He was like, yes, just FYI. I just went and got the tequila myself because I was like, I'm not going to trust it to someone else. So I just went and did it myself and packaged it and brought it to her house. So it's behind this potted plant, on her front. And I was like, oh my fucking God, what if she has Ring camera? Or what if you came out and saw him and you knew from my Instagram that it was my husband? And I was like, what if you were what if creep?
No, I wish I got to see him. I didn't know that was him.
That's amazing.
I didn't know he was doing free work, and going up hills and stuff because we live at the top of a hill, so that driveway is steep. Wow, I didn't know it was him.
I just had a vision in my mind of you being pretty sure that delivery man was also Caisie's husband, but whatever. It was just, it was so weird. But anyway, that's who I'll be spending Christmas with, your tequila delivery man.
Oh my gosh, so baller too. Just sending the husband, and
I
sometimes,
agree.
yeah,
I'm happy for that.
I had a moment where, the other day I asked Ryan, my husband, how to turn on the washing machine.
Yeah,
and that's how he realized that he had been doing the laundry.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
All these years
forever, literally.
Yeah,
forever.
and in turn, I was shocked too, where I was like, oh my God, it has been you this whole time, And he was like, I thought you were doing it sometimes. And I was like, no, I thought I was doing it sometimes. I literally, when you've seen someone do something, so you're like, oh, you think you experienced that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then I walked up to the washing machine. I was like, I have never touched these buttons before. And I was like, I don't really know what the right setting is.
Oh my God.
And he was like, wait, so it's been me for 5 years? And I was like, I guess so, And that is feminism,
Yes. And that is feminism. Yes.
Since then, have you gone around to any other appliances and tested yourself?
Yeah. Well, I was like, well, you might as well show me how the dryer works too then while we're at it.
It's really funny. You're like, I'm gonna have to do both.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I was like,
I had that moment with one of my children, Atsuko, where I was like, Birdie, you have to help. Birdie's 14, Birdie, you have to help me do the dishes. Like, help me load the dishwasher. And Birdie like opens the dishwasher and was like looking at it. And I was like, you know how to load a dishwasher, don't you? And just the look on Birdie's face. And I was like, oh my God, I've failed as a parent. But then I taught her and then I realized it was just easier if I did it myself.
People learn a lot from watching movies and TV shows. Like that thing of watching someone having done something and you think you've done it because you saw it on a TV show or something.
Yeah, right.
And you don't know, like you think you've met someone, but it's just because you watch Schitt's Creek or something.
Right. Totally.
Or it's like how you think you play Guitar Hero and you think you really can play guitar.
Yes. You're like, it's coming into me. Like, why does my body feel so comfortable in this guitar? It's
or if you're me and you're on a medical show and you think you actually could stitch someone up
100%,
as I did
land a plane.
Think that, but I didn't do it.
There's so many things. I think there's so many things we all think we could do, and when it comes down to it, probably couldn't.
So to teach our kids how to use dishwasher and stuff, I think they should have more scenes where they just, even if it's a boring scene, I don't care. Okay. Just show, you know what I mean? Show chores.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Have the characters, have that be a storyline for an episode or something.
Remember that show that everybody was so into in the beginning of the pandemic? It was like on Netflix, but it was an old show. Is it called Old Enough or Big Enough, where they send the toddlers out on errands?
Yes.
Yeah.
Old enough. I still watch it. Birdie and I watch it all the time. I love it.
I feel like that's how I raised my kids. I was like, no, you can make a fire. What are you, like 5 now? Go ahead.
That's
do
insane.
It. You can do it. But it's helpful. Here's what I made sure my kids knew how to pump gas, because I remember using ATM. I remember getting sent to use an ATM and almost having a breakdown when I was like 12. So pump gas, use an ATM, use the stove, and they teach me how to use the TV. Like, I still don't. If anything happens with the cable or whatever, I'm out. Like, I can't fix it. So they're the ones that have to help me. But
Oh, they'll figure out anything for their own entertainment. Okay.
Yes, I agree.
Yes. Right? They'll be an expert. Suddenly they can be a TV installment person because, you know what I mean? They can work they can be an Apple genius.
Yes.
Because they needed to see whatever they watch. Euphoria. I don't know what they watch. I don't hang out with kids.
Euphoria. You're right.
That's it.
They literally watch that show.
Well, my kids don't. My kids don't. My Birdie doesn't like it. No, Birdie thinks it's not realistic because Birdie says it's like, Birdie's like, not every, like all the bad things happen to all of those kids. That's just like unrealistic. She's like, they're drug addicts and they've been raped and they're doing drugs and they're like this and they're that, like whatever. You know what I'm saying? She's like, maybe one of those things would happen to one of your friends.
Right. Right.
I mean, it is a lot. Like if they are all going through that,
that's what I'm saying.
Not to
she's
take
not.
away.
She's not into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grey's Anatomy isn't realistic either. I feel like I checked out a long time ago, but I feel like the doctors only were taking care of each other at some point, and that seemed not realistic. So,
right. It's also like at a certain point, you're like, how many like a helicopter crash into the hospital? Like how many like tragedies can happen at the actual hospital?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Show me a cold. Someone with a cold. Bring it back to reality. Okay. Yeah. Can a patient just be dramatic and be like, I have a cold. I need to be seen now? Because that happens.
I feel like it's like the majority of people in the waiting room are just like, I'm just kind of sick. or it's like, or it's literally like the only times that I've been to where my Mark, my kid's dad, like the times when he thought he was having a heart attack, but he wasn't. There's like, you never see those on Grey's Anatomy. Just like there's so many people that are just like, they're like, I think I have a blood. Like I went once because I was like, I feel like I might have a blood clot in my. I didn't have a blood clot. They're like, I think you just have a cramp and maybe you need to eat more potassium.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like we need more of those stories.
Normalize the mundane.
Loading dishwashers and people who get sent home because they're not having heart attacks. But they're like, but good for you for coming in because, better to be safe than sorry. Okay, goodbye.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe this is our big idea for a long-running TV series, Realistic Hospital.
Yes.
I'm in.
realistic TV shows, you know? Like I just no, you are not having a heart attack, but you do have a yeast infection, you know?
Right.
That kind of that twist.
Just not a lot of drama.
That you
Not a lot of
didn't-
drama.
yeah.
Some discomfort. You'll be fine.
Didn't see it coming. What have
I
you
like
been?
it.
What have you been into watching, Atsuko? What is like the funniest person finding funny on TV?
Funny on TV, gosh. Well, I do watch a lot of specials. So I watched Matt Rogers. Have you heard of Christmas?
Oh yeah, how was it?
Yeah.
It's great. It's great.
love-
It's perfect for the holidays. It's
Love
music.
him. Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it's you'll have a dashing time watching that. And I started White Lotus. I wouldn't call that a comedy, but you know,
Right.
it's I started season 2.
It's entertaining. And then, speaking of music and musicals, I saw you kind of performing a song. What was the title of it? It was about getting cut in line at the House of Pies.
That's right. Yeah, I'm you know, and I just want to let you know, I'm not a pretty singer. I'm an ugly singer actually, and yeah, so it was more leaning
It was
towards
like
the comedy.
Spoken word to music, like beat poet vibes.
Right.
But
Based on a true story, maybe?
Yes, based on a true story. Yeah,
Mhm.
just about during the holidays, how someone, you know, because I'm very like, you know, yes, and I'm very like, you know, no, you go first. I'm very that energy,
yeah.
and maybe too much, you know, but I didn't even do that. That day I was just standing in line. I just wanted one slice of pie, and then this woman walked in and cut me. And then when it was her time to order, she ordered 2 whole pies, and I was like, you know, so it's a song about that. And wow, thank you for watching.
I'm a
you
big
know,
fan. It's like
high
on my.
stakes.
Oh my
You know,
god.
Yeah.
I'm not a singer like you, Busy. Okay,
Yeah, I get,
you know,
I get it. I get it. We can't all be a singer like me.
But
Yeah,
you're not an artist, and I really enjoyed that song, and it's very appropriate for the holidays. If you want to seek it out, I mean, yeah, and it will make me think every time I pass a House of Pies about that
Yeah.
lady.
Yeah. I mean, did she have a big family or not?
She's still out there. She's probably going to do it again.
To someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said she's probably out there right now telling people Asian girls, they're just so nice. You know, they let you cut in line and stuff. And I was like, oh, girl.
I hope she's listening. I hope she's hearing this, so she knows that when you want 2 pies, get at the back of the line.
Would you claim her? She was your. What if she was your biggest fan? It was a podcast.
I would tell her. I think I would tell her, you know,
Well, she would know now.
appreciate your time and
She would know now.
love that you spend time with us. But just FYI,
Yeah.
Stop cutting
you know,
in line.
Stop cutting in
It's
line at
not
House of
okay.
Pies.
During the holidays, yeah,
During-
it's mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, so I appreciate that. Yeah, and thank you for. No one's ever shouted my singing out. Okay, no one. In fact, notoriously, I got kicked out of the choir that my uncle was the choir director for. Like he never had me back, and you know he was like, "Oh, people were talking." I was like, "It's a choir. People heard me messing up. You
What?
could out of 40 people." You know, and I was like, "You come on!" I didn't know you could even get kicked out of such a thing. I didn't know it's a free service. You know what I mean? It's choir. We're all volunteering. Like, what is this? The Voice?
My
You know?
God.
He's like, suddenly I wasn't on the sheet for practice anymore on Sundays, and I was like, is it from the cantata that we did? And he's like, yeah, it was the cantata. Yeah, everyone was talking. Oh, there was an alto off, and I knew it was you. I was so embarrassed to be like,
Oh my God.
and I was like, whatever. I'll write a song one day about something really important, like House of Pies. And I'll show, at least Caissie will notice.
You showed him. I did notice. I can't. But what's your relationship like with this uncle now?
It's you know, it's fine. It's good. You know, we don't. He still sings. He's still the choir director at his church. I don't go to church anymore.
But because of that.
No, yes, because of that. What if that's what it was, and it wasn't because of anything?
I'd be kind of yeah. You're like, that's it. That was the final straw.
It's one of the reasons, maybe. Well, I think he owes you an apology. I hope one day he reaches the same conclusion, that even if he wanted to tell you that, I think there was maybe a better way to tell you that maybe you weren't a good fit for his choir. It's rough.
I didn't know, but also like, do you can you fire volunteer firefighters? Like, I didn't know that's a volunteer job. You know what I mean?
That's a really good question.
It's a very good point.
It's a good point and a really good question. I guess the experience probably taught you a little bit about show business, probably prepared you for your where people are like, no, you're great. We love you. Never come back here.
Oh my God.
It taught me a lot about volunteering, is that you can, even if it's free service that you're giving, out of your heart for God and the people, you can be asked to leave, even though it's like, no, you need me. Without me, you're an uneven number of choir singers. And he was like, that's fine. We'll find someone. And they found someone so easy because, again, it's just free. It's a free service.
Yeah.
It's a free service. Choir is a free service, guys.
There's no audition.
No. But also, you shouldn't be able to be kicked out. He took advantage of the fact that you were related.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have kicked you out if you weren't related.
That's true. It's harder to
right.
It's harder to have that conversation with like a acquaintance or a stranger.
Yes, someone you don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know, guys. I don't know.
Should we all say what we're doing our best at?
Oh yeah, that's such a good point.
Since we're near the end of our time. Do you want to go first, Busy? What are you doing here?
Go.
I don't know. I'm doing my best to try to keep things straight for myself. Does that work?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like I don't have any help right now keeping things straight. And I'm trying to just like, I can do this. I have to do this. I'm going to do this.
Yeah. You're like back to basics.
I'm back to basics, Cais. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's a lot of staying on top, being organized.
I'm trying my best to be organized. Yeah. Oh my God, wait, I am doing my best at being organized. I organized the pantry and I reorganized my closet myself instead of outsourcing, which I normally am prone to do. I'm prone to like calling someone and asking someone to come over and just do it for me and I pay them money. But no. This time I was like, I can do this. And I did it. And it wasn't easy and I was really cranky about it, but I did it.
You did it. And you know what?
Work.
I bet you'll keep it up better because you're the one that did the work and you are the one that figured out what works best for you. So I think you'll keep it up better because you did that.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. No. I am doing my best at, I think also trying to make everything work. Like my schedule for the next, like from now until the holidays is like, it's like puzzle pieces and so many things like, it just really all worked out perfectly. But then my son has his first improv show and they just like randomly changed the date to a time when I couldn't go. And I was like,
oh, that sucks.
It sucks. But I mean, I guess there was a universe in which I could have canceled the other thing, but a lot of other people are going to be at the other thing. And so, you know, and listen, he's 20. It's not like he's like 10 years old and it's his school play or whatever.
Right.
But he just was
still.
like, don't cancel your thing. Like he offered it up like right away. Don't cancel your thing. There'll be other shows. It got changed, you know, whatever. And I was like, you know, he was really sweet about it. But yeah, my schedule right now is just like, it's like a puzzle and nothing can be moved around. And so I'm just trying to stay really like organized and chill and not stressed out because the reason why my schedule is so packed is because I'm trying to do things to enjoy the holidays. And if I'm not enjoying them, then that defeats the whole purpose. And I might as well just like stay home in my gym jams. So, so I'm just trying to like, you know, just trying to be chill about everything because I get myself like whipped up about all the things that I'm supposed to do for the holidays. And like, but like the point is it's supposed to be fun and you're supposed to be together with people that you care about. And if I'm like going around being a huge bitch because like I feel stressed out because like the improv show conflicted with my cookie party, then, you know, that's not fun for anyone. So anyway, just trying to be organized, but chill and enjoy myself. Like that's what this is for. So
Yeah. It's so good to have conversations like that during a time where you need to be organized too. To have the support of your family being like, hey, I don't know if I can make your show that night, you know, and then, you know, them showing support back, your son showing support back and being like, no, there'll be more, you know, that's so much needed when you're trying to stay on top. So,
yeah,
you know,
it's hard. Atsuko, what are you doing your best at?
I'm doing my best at all these clothes that need to be washed. Am I right? I'm just like,
Ooh, you're just doing
oh
it.
my
You figured it
God.
out. You're on it.
you
they're
know,
just
you know
still in a
what?
pile.
You are really doing your best at
Would
that.
you say that you like doing it or you're just doing your best at doing it?
It's
Now
fine.
that you know how to use the machine, do you like doing it?
A little bit, because honestly, it does the most of the work for you. I don't know why I couldn't just. I was, I was like, oh, okay, and then I just watch, or I don't have to watch. I just leave, and so
You don't
that's-
have to watch. I'm just here to tell you, you do not have to watch it.
You
go.
could.
It will just
I
go.
mean,
You could if you want, but you really don't have to.
Yeah, and then the folding of the clothes and stuff, you know, that's the part that and then the organizing, putting it in drawers and stuff. That's, you know, I'm figuring it out. I'm shocked at how much clothes I wear in one day. I'm like,
Oh my God.
why I had one day of things to do. Why is 3 pairs of underwear dirty from that? I don't remember.
I mean, that's very much me. You're speaking to me
Yes.
now because I am the same way and I will like change my clothes minimum 3 times a day.
Yeah.
including underwear.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just want to feel new.
I need to feel fresh. I need to feel new. That's exactly right.
Yeah. And so, you know, we're just a house of 2 people, but yeah, I'm like, Jesus Christ, what this is 20 people suddenly dropped their laundry off at our house. It's been 2 days, you know? So yeah, I'm trying. We're all trying.
I'm
And
proud
everybody's
of
such a
you.
beautiful segment.
Man.
Such a beautiful segment.
I'm so proud of you. And I'm proud of your husband for just being like a laundry powerhouse and doing 5 years of laundry, not even noticing that nobody was helping him.
Good for him. Didn't
and
even notice. Didn't notice, wasn't holding it over you?
No. I'm the one that told him. Yeah. And he was in retrospect, if I never said anything, if I never asked, it would have probably continued.
Yeah. I think we've all learned an important lesson.
I do too. Don't bring it up.
Don't blow the whistle on yourself if you don't know how something works.
There's no need. There's no need. He would have just kept doing it.
Yeah. He's like, wait, I've been pumping the gas in the car
Yeah.
this whole time?
He's like, well, let's
And
not.
I'm like, so can you keep the car on or off? During the
Can I smoke?
yeah, so no cigarettes. Is that what you're telling me? By the gas station? Okay. My first year on Earth right now. Anyway, I'll let y'all go. It's lunchtime. Oh no, you got all kinds of things to do.
Well, I have to take care of these weird people that just showed up at my house. My children.
Atsuko, congratulations on the special.
It's so exciting.
We're so excited to watch it. Everybody watch
HBO and HBO Max, whichever
Okay.
one you have a password to. It's called The Intruder on December 10th. And it's about an intruder that came to our house 3 times in the same day. And, you know, about when you're sort of like a late bloomer like I am, how you feel like you're intruding on spaces. It's about all of those things. And so I hope you have fun watching it December 10th. Yeah,
so
Intruder.
excited to watch it. Everybody
so
watch
excited.
it on HBO Max. And Atsuko, we just love you. You're the greatest.
Thank
and
you for being with us.
Thank you for
having me. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. And to the rest of you, we'll talk to you all next week. We love you.
We love you.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. Atsuko, thank you so much.
Atsuko, thank you.
Thank you. Lots of love.
You too. Best of luck this weekend. You're gonna kill it.
Yes, tell Ryan we said hi, and can't wait to watch the special.
I will.
Okay, and you can just email me your audio file if you have it. I'll send you my email. Okay.
It starts like 30 seconds in, but the rest will be synced. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Cais.
Bye.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing my best.
Oh no.